A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Bells. Stand by all stations.
Attention, all districts. A 5-alarm fire. 5 bells. Move in immediately.
That's it. Let's roll. Let's go. Firefighters.
Presenting Firefighters, the true-to-life story of our unsung heroes who stand ready to ride by day or night against our most murderous enemy, the demon of fire. In just a minute, we'll take you to the scene of the fire at the waterfront. The fire under the old wooden dock, which was extinguished by Tim Collins, rookie fireman, and Lieutenant Greenspan when they worked their way under the dock with a rowboat. But before we join Tim Collins, here's a message for you. Let's go, firefighters. Let's go to the dock of the Tennacombe Towboat Company, where Chief Cody is examining the scene of the recently extinguished fire. Just a moment ago, you remember, the engine men were ordered to take up their hose lines, and the truckmen set to work replacing the planks they had torn up in the hour-long search for the fire that was eating its way through the beams far below the surface of the dock. But Chief Cody could find no clue to the origin of the mysterious fire until Tim Collins touched his arm and then said,
Chief Cody, look over there.
Where? Out there? Great blistering blazes. There come the tugboats that tie up at this dock. Tennacombe, the owner, has been in my hair all afternoon. Well, Collins, what about them?
I didn't mean the boats, sir. I mean there, on the planks at the edge of the dock.
A pile of ashes.
Yes, sir, and there, and over there. Somebody's been dumping ashes on this dock.
Ashes by the bucketful. Collins, have you ever been aboard one of those tugs?
Me? No, sir.
Well, I have. They don't have galleys for cooking like larger boats, but there's a little coal stove for coffee and snacks.
Well, then they've been dumping the ashes overside, but why not into the water? Why here, on the dock?
Because some people don't seem to have the judgment to empty a bucket of hot ashes in safety, even if it had directions printed all over it.
Huh. Well, somebody ought to hear about this, Chief Cody.
Somebody will. Collins, get me Tennacombe.
Who, sir?
Tennacombe. You'll find him in those offices over there, the Towboat Company headquarters.
Yes, sir.
That man has been raising the roof. He was out here on the dock blasting us up and down because we took so long to find his fire and put it out. Now I'd like to do some talking myself. Get me Tennacombe if you have to bring him out here under your arm.
I'll go right up there, right away, sir.
Hurry in, don't knock my door down.
I'm looking for a Mr. Tennacombe.
Fireman. Fireman. Now what is it?
Are you Mr. Tennacombe?
Of course I am. Who else would I be? And those are my tugboats out there.
I saw them. Mr. Tennacombe...
Look, here. Look out this window.
Well, yes, that's quite a view.
Quite a view. You know what that view is costing me? Do you realize that because my tugs are unable to tie up at my dock on schedule, I'll be charged for overtime?
But Mr. Tennacombe...
Overtime for every man in every crew on every one of my 4 tugboats. There goes my money. Because my boats can't dock on time because you so-called firemen, because you're incompetent. Because you can't find a fire in my dock. And if you could find it, you wouldn't know how to put it out in time to do it.
But we did find your fire, and it's out.
Well, this isn't the end of it, I can assure you. You'll hear from Eustace Tennacombe. If it's the last thing I do, what'd you say?
The fire is out.
Oh. But my dock. You ruined my dock. You ripped up 100 yards of plank.
Yes, sure, tracing the fire. But we put it back. And your boats, look for yourself.
What, they're tying up the dock. Hey, where's my watch? Say, and on time.
Yes. Now, if you're satisfied, Mr. Tennacombe...
Satisfied? No, I'm not satisfied. You see that man out there on my dock? That man with the white helmet?
Oh, yes, that's Chief...
That's the man. Well, I won't be satisfied until I report his insolence to the chief.
Oh? You're sure you mean the man with the white helmet?
I know him anywhere. Insolent. Why, he dared to... My own fire in my own dock, and he ordered me off. Ordered me off my own property. Said I was in the way.
And you're going to report him to the chief?
I am.
Well, then, will you come with me, Mr. Tennacombe? The chief wants to talk to you as much as you want to talk to him.
Chief, what's his name, Cody? He's here?
Yes, sir. Waiting for you on the dock, Mr. Tennacombe. If you'll come with me...
Yes, a pleasure. What I've heard, this Chief Cody is a man of intelligence. Chief Cody isn't the kind of... Careful with that door, you heavy-handed fireman. Here, let me...
All right, boys, that's all. Okay. Get back to your stations, report in service.
There's that fellow with the white helmet. When he hears what Chief Cody has to say... where is the chief? They're all leaving.
Chief Cody, here's Mr. Tennacombe.
Well, Mr. Tennacombe, I've been waiting for you.
I got nothing to say to you, my man, not a word. What I have to say, I intend to say to... Are you Chief Cody?
I am.
Why,
You have something to say before I start talking?
I don't know what to say, and that's never happened before.
A while ago, you had plenty to say about incompetence.
Well, after all...
Mr. Tennacombe, we spent almost an hour tracing that fire. All we had to follow was a faint trail of smoke. We followed it under the surface of these planks. We even followed it beneath your dock, with 2 men in a boat. Down there with the fumes of oil so thick, my men were almost knocked out.
Well, but after all, an hour... Well, I suppose you know more about things than I do.
Admitted, we took almost an hour to locate that fire. And then... Collins.
Yes, sir.
Collins, you were down under the dock with the fog nozzle and the hose line. After you hit that fire, how long did it take?
With that fog, sir? Oh, once we opened the nozzle, the fire was smothered in less than 5 minutes.
There you are, Mr. Tennacombe. Now, this was the toughest kind of fire to deal with. The kind we have to hunt down before we can extinguish it.
Well, possibly I owe you an apology, Chief Cody. I suppose you did your part.
Yes, and how about you?
Well, I've apologized, haven't I? What more do you want?
A little cooperation to prevent another tough fire like this one. Come over here, Mr. Tennacombe. All right, now, look there. And there.
Ashes. Not very tidy.
And look here. You see that gap between the planks?
You don't expect a dock service to be like an ant's floor.
Mr. Tennacombe, your men have been dumping hot ashes from the coal stoves in those boats you're so proud of. They've been dumping the ashes here. The live coals have run down between the planks, deep into the substructure of this dock.
Why, that's not safe. That could start a... Why, it did. It started a fire.
It did, and it's only luck that you've only a minor repair job to pay for. If that fire had spread during the night, you could have lost your boats as well as your dock.
Terrible. That's terrible. I must take precautions. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll take precautions. I'll speak to the men. I'll post a bulletin on the Tennacombe Towboat Company office. Yes, I'll call my captains on the carpet.
That's all we ask, Mr. Tennacombe.
Chief Cody, I feel I should do something, some token of appreciation.
Your cooperation is enough.
Yes, but some little... Oh, yes, the fireman's ball. Some tickets, perhaps, for the fireman.
You don't owe us anything, Mr. Tennacombe. Come on, Collins.
Coming, sir.
Well, at least a cigar. Chief Cody, at least let me offer you a cigar.
No, thanks, Mr. Tennacombe. Come on, Collins, let's get away before he offers us a tugboat apiece.
Yes, sir.
So, where's your company, Collins?
Picked up and rolled back to the station, Chief Cody. The lieutenant told me to report back when you're through with me.
Well, get in then. I'll give you a lift.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Oh, here's your hand lamp, the one we used under the dock.
Oh, set it back in the rack.
Yes, sir. Chief Cody.
Yeah?
When you ordered me to get Tennacombe from his office, well, I got the idea you were mad enough to bite his head off.
Well, I was. Gross negligence. Permitting a fire hazard like that.
Yes, sir, but when he got there, you weren't easy on him, but you...
But I let him live. Is that what you don't understand?
Well, with all his complaints...
Well, Tim, I'll tell you. It's funny about this business of ours, this firefighting. You have to, well, take things as they come and just hope enough people cooperate, enough of them take precautions to head off a few fires.
You think Tennacombe will play ball with the department now?
He will. Yes, the department has plans for Mr. Tennacombe.
Plans? I hadn't heard about that.
No, because it just came to me. But I've got plans for Mr. Tennacombe and his tugboats. And you're going to help me put them across.
Now, what plans do you suppose Chief Cody is making for Mr. Tennacombe? And what has the fire department to do with tugboats? It's too bad we have to leave just as the chief is preparing to confide in Tim Collins. But you'll be in on the secret before long if you listen to our next true-to-life episode of The Firefighters. In just a moment, Chief Bob Cody will tell you boys and girls how you can help the firefighters in your own town. But first, here's a message you ought to hear. And now Chief Bob Cody with a special assignment for the Firefighters Brigade. Chief Cody.
Boys and girls, this is Chief Cody, and here's your special assignment. Firefighters, attention. Each of you is to inspect your neighborhood to see how people dispose of rubbish. That is, how they get rid of papers and other combustible material. Note the facilities for burning this kind of refuse. Remember, an incinerator should be covered and should be of a type that prevents flaming scraps of paper from spreading around the yard. Note the facilities of this nature in your neighborhood, because one faulty incinerator may be a fire hazard to a dozen homes. That is all, and goodbye for now.
Fire Chief Cody and the young rookie fireman Tim Collins will be back on the same station the next time you hear...
That's it. Let's roll! Let's go! Firefighters!
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. In a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, fine tobacco.
Season after season, at auction after auction, independent tobacco experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. No doubt about it. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette.
So for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. American.
The Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, 4 weeks ago, Jack Benny got into trouble with his sponsor because he fired his quartet. Despite the fact that Jack auditioned several singing groups, he could find no suitable replacement. So now we find Jack at home, where he has just started to type a letter to his old quartet, the Sportsmen.
Gentlemen. No, that sounds too businesslike to start off with. Let's see. Dear Sirs. No, that's still too formal. I've got it. My darling sportsman. That's it, yeah. My darling sportsman. Now, that's a little too personal. I'll knock out the my. Now, let's see. Fellows, I hope you will receive this letter in the spirit in which it is sent, because... Whoops! Silly me, it's only us. I am willing to let bygones be bygones. I know that you boys want more money, but... Gee, I even do it on the typewriter. Now, let's see. I know you want more money, but that can be discussed later. I realize that apologies at this point would be superfluous. Superfluous. S-U-P-U... No, that doesn't look right. Oh, Rochester, how do you spell superfluous?
S-U-P-E-R-F-L-U-O-U-S.
Thank you. Would be superfluous, but I'm sure we can iron out any discrepancies. Rochester, how do you spell discrepancies?
D-I-S-C-R-E-P-A-N-C-I-E-S.
Thank you. Iron out any discrepancies that may come up. Yours sincerely, Jack Benny.
B-E-N-N.
I know how to spell it. Rochester, do you think this letter will do any good?
I don't think so, boss. They wouldn't even talk to you when you went to see them.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, this letter isn't right. I'll throw it away.
Rochester. What's the matter, boss? What happened?
I had my tongue caught in the roller. It hurts.
Let me see.
You
spelled superfluous wrong after all.
Never mind. Gee, Rochester, I don't know what to do about a quartet.
Well, boss, I thought the quartet you had last Sunday was pretty good.
Yeah, each one of them is a great soloist. Dennis Day, Andy Russell, Dick Haymes, Bing Crosby. But I know, but when you put them together, what have you got? Personally, I'd rather have Hugo Carmichael.
You know, boss, if you need any help, I can sing a little bit like Mr. Crosby myself.
You?
When the blue of the night meets the gold of the day, ba-ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-boo.
Rochester, if you think you sing like Bing Crosby, then I play the violin like Yasha Heifetz.
Oh, you do, boss, you do!
Thanks.
Excuse me, there's someone at the door, Yasha.
I'll get it, Bing. You put the typewriter away.
Hello, Jack.
Oh, hello, Mary. I was expecting you earlier.
Well, I would have been here sooner, but I was working out in the garden all morning.
You were? How are the flowers coming?
Fine, only I shouldn't have bought the seeds at the corner of Hollywood and Vine.
Why not?
I was wearing a sunsuit, and the snapdragons kept snapping at me.
I don't blame them, Livy. You've got better stems than they have. Oh, Jackson, it's only the second day of spring, and you're in full bloom already.
Jack. Jack, why must you always go along with a gag?
Because I feel good. But, Mary, it doesn't seem possible the flowers in your garden are up already. You only planted them a few weeks ago.
I know, but I scattered plenty of Vigoro around. That stuff really makes things grow.
It does? Vigoro, huh? Say, I wonder if...
No, and anyway, it would look messy on your head.
I wasn't thinking of that. But you know, Mary, I like gardening and flowers and growing things. You know, in fact, I saw a preview of a picture the other night, The Egg and I. It was wonderful. Claudette Colbert is married to Fred McMurray, and they live on a little farm where it's quiet and peaceful. And they raise their own chickens and eggs and grow their own food and everything.
Gee, I wish I had that.
A farm?
No, Fred McMurray.
No, well, Well, I can see you're not the type that's interested in farming. Now, look at me. In my garden, I raise carrots, peas, lettuce, all kinds of useful things.
Well, Jack, I know it saves you a little money, but I think you're going too far.
What do you mean?
You even grow rice in the shallow end of your swimming pool.
I do not. Mary, if you keep talking like that, next fall when I pick my grapes, I won't let you help me make wine out of them.
Good. I had enough of that wine making last time. My feet were purple for 2 weeks.
All right. It stained my bathtub, too, you know. I'll get it, Bing.
Okay, Yasha.
Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Come on in, kid.
Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Mary. I passed your house this morning and I saw you working in the garden. Boy, that sunsuit you were wearing.
Dennis.
My mother has a sunsuit just like Mary's, only it's yellow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when she wears it, she looks like the Wilshire bus with lace bumpers.
Well, look, kid, Mary and I are leaving for the studio in a few minutes. Have you any idea what you're going to sing today?
Oh, sure.
Well, let me hear it first, and then we'll... Hey, Dennis. Yeah, I just noticed it. You've got a scratch on your nose. How'd you get it?
Well, I was riding down here on a bicycle built for two, and I ran into a telephone pole.
Well, how did that happen?
There was nobody on the front seat to steer it.
Well, Dennis, why didn't you sit in the front seat?
I've got 2 shows. Why should I drive?
Oh, for heaven's sake. Come on, kid. Let's pack this up. Lovely song. I'm glad you're going to sing it on the program. You really... Dennis, what are you taking your shoes off for?
Isn't it time to make the wine?
No, No, not till after we pick the cotton.
Oh.
Lift that bale, tilt that bar. Well, come on, kids, we'll go to the studio.
Say, Mr. Benny, what are you going to do about a quartet?
I don't know. I want to get my old quartet, the Sportsmen, back, but I don't know how to go about it.
Say, Jack, I've got an idea. Why don't you go over and talk to their manager? I bet he'll help you get the boys back.
Well, say, that might help at that. Rochester, get the car out. We're going into town. See you later, Dennis. Rochester, try the starter again.
Oh, Jack, we've been trying to start the car for 20 minutes. Let's take a cab.
Don't worry, Mary, it'll start. Rochester, try it again.
Yes, sir.
Step on the starter again, Rochester.
Yes, sir. It's not long for this world.
Rochester, maybe there's something wrong with the spark plug.
I don't think so. I cleaned them both this morning.
Oh, we'll try it once more. If it doesn't work this time, we'll take a cab.
Yes, sir.
It started. It started.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder.
Yes, sir. I knew it could do it.
Oh, why don't you get a new car? I never heard a motor that carries on so much.
I know, Mary. It's a little mad at me since I made a join AFRA. Rochester, take us to 1507 Benedict. Well, this is their manager's house, Mr. Stewart. I wish I sent my lawyer to sort of pave the way for me.
Pave the way?
Yeah, talk to him first to see how he feels. Say, Mary, you can do that.
Oh, but Jack...
Go ahead, ring the bell. I'll hide behind the hedge.
Oh, okay.
Yes?
How do you do? My name is Mary Livingston, and I work for Jack Benny.
Oh. Well, go around to the back door. I'll give you a cup of coffee.
Can you spare 2 cups of coffee?
Certainly.
Come on out, Jack. I paved the way.
Very funny, very funny. Now, look, Mr. Stewart, I didn't come here only for coffee. I came here to talk to you about the quartet.
Well, come right inside and we'll talk it over.
Good. Come on, Mary.
Well, I'll wait in the car.
Okay, this won't take long. Now, Mr. Stewart, to show that my heart's in the right place, I'm willing to take the quartet back and not deduct anything for the 3 weeks they've been off.
Well, I have the new contract all prepared, and if you'll just sign it, everything will be fine.
Gladly. I'll sign right... Wait a minute. Look at this Clause 8. Why are these words scratched out?
Well, we made a slight change in the clause where it said they have to mow your lawn.
Slight change?
Now you have to mow their lawn.
Now, wait a minute. I was over to their place, and they live in an apartment. They don't even have a lawn.
I know, but they're going to buy a house in Beverly Hills where there'll be plenty of grass.
Well, how can those guys afford to buy a house in Beverly Hills?
Read Clause 9.
Let me see. I, Jack Benny, party of the first part, agree to pay to the party of the second part $5,000 a week if I... $5,000? Look, if I pay them that much money, they'd have to be the stars of the show.
Read Clause 12.
Now, Mr. Stewart, I don't mind paying them a little more money, but this Clause 14 is ridiculous. I'm not going to do their laundry.
I don't know what you're so excited about. You've been doing it for months.
I've been doing the sportsman's laundry?
Well, certainly, didn't you know?
Mr. Stewart, I'm a busy man. When Rochester brings in the bundles, I don't ask them who they're from. If you stand around asking questions, your water gets cold. If you'll take out those ridiculous clauses and make the same deal we had before, I'll sign the contract.
Okay. Here's a pen.
All right. There you are. Now, where are the sportsmen?
Well, I don't know where I can locate them, but if I do, I'll send them to your studio.
Good. And thanks very much, Mr. Stewart. Okay, Rochester, here we are. Let us out right here. Come on, Mary. Rochester, you can go now, and on your way home, stop at the Automobile Club and get some maps. I'm going to drive to San Francisco next week.
You're going to take this car up to San Francisco?
Yes. What are you laughing at?
It'll be easier to bring San Francisco down here.
Just make sure those 2 spark plugs are working. I'll get there. Come on, Mary, let's get in the studio.
Jack, why are we going to San Francisco?
Well, we're going to do our broadcast next Sunday for the San Francisco-Oakland Newspaper Guild. I like San Francisco, Mary. The weather's so crisp, the scenery's so beautiful, and the Golden Gate.
Stop trembling. It's only painted that color.
No, but it's so nice to...
Hello, Mr. Benny. Pardon the intrusion.
Well, hello. Hello, Mr. Kitzel.
Oh, thank you.
What are you doing here at NBC?
Mr. Benny, I got to ask you a favor. Would it be too much trouble for you to handle these cards around to your friends? I'm in a new business now.
A new business?
Uh-huh.
What is it?
It's called Ye Old Knick-Knack Nuke and Antique Shopping.
Ye Old Knick-Knack Nuke?
Yes, and we have a slogan. Don't be a schnook. Take a look at Kitzel's Nook.
Well, that's kind of catchy. And you have antiques, too?
Yeah, I got antiques. I got the original bed George Washington slept in it.
You have the bed George Washington slept in?
Yes, but you should excuse the chocolate on the pillow. Martha was a little careless.
Oh, well, that's really a valuable antique. Anyway, thanks for the cards, Mr. Kitzel. I'll give them to my friends, and someday I'll drop in myself.
Oh, wonderful. And remember, Mr. Benny, we sell everything. Tables, chairs, drapes, rugs, lamps, bookcases. And if you don't say what you want, we sell eyeglasses, too.
I'll remember that. By the way, Mr. Kitzel, I'm just going in to do my broadcast. Come on in with me. You can sit on the stage.
Oh, thank you. How do you do, Miss Livingstone?
Hello, Mr. Kitzel.
You like antiques, don't you?
Mr. Kitzel, there is nothing serious between Mr. Benny and myself.
Mary, don't be funny. Oh, my goodness, look at the clock. The program's already started. Let's hurry.
Hey, here's another one, Don. Ask me why fat men always wear suspenders.
Okay. Why do fat men always...
Hold it. I'm here now. You can sit down.
Sit down. Look, Buster, why did you stop me right when I was in the middle of a joke?
What?
I got the audience in the palm of my hand. I was telling gags and singing songs, and they love me. They love me.
Now, wait a minute, Phil.
Quiet. Don't call me Phil. They think I'm Al Jolson.
Al Jolson?
When April showers may come your way, yeah. They bring the flowers, those pretty little flowers. Mammy, can't you hear Josie boy coming home? I'm coming home, Mammy.
Phil!
Mammy, don't stop me, Jackson. I got him rolling. It's downhill from here.
How do you like that? He was out all night, can't get up off his knees, and he thinks he's Jolson. All right, Phil. If you think you're such a great comedian, go ahead and tell that fat man joke I interrupted.
All right, thanks, Bub. Come on, Donzie. Ask me why a fat man always wears suspenders.
Okay, Phil. Why does a fat man always wear suspenders?
Because he's afraid his stomach will make his belt buckle.
Belt? Buckle?
You heard me. Those things on the side of your head ain't bookends.
I know, and Don, I'm surprised that you fell for a joke like that. You, of all people, should know why fat men wear suspenders.
Well, I don't wear suspenders or a belt either.
And what keeps your pants up?
The NBC censor. Oh, Wilson, you take up half the stage, but you're worth it.
What kind of a show is this? Phil is Al Jolson, Don is Phil Harris. Mary, who would you like to be?
Mrs. Fred McMurray.
Now cut that out. Seems the only sensible one around here is Dennis.
Just call me John Charles Thomas.
Well, it's my own fault for... Thank heaven, and I don't care who it is. Come in. Well, look who's here. My old quartet, the Sportsmen. Well, boys, I can't tell you how happy I am to have you back. No, don't hum. I'll do the talking. And, Mr. Stewart, you came with us.
Yes, Mr. Benny, I knew how anxious you were to have them again and to hear their glorious voices, so I spared no effort to find them today. Isn't that right, fellows? Oh, shut up.
See, Mary, it's not only me, you see. Don, look, your children are back. Aren't you happy?
You bet I am, Jack, and I'm glad you feel the same way.
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Stewart, now that the boys are here, have they got a number?
They certainly have, and to celebrate their return, they want you all to join in.
All of us? Well, that's fine.
Come on, boys, let's have it.
Old Jack Benny had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on this farm tobacco grew, E-I-E-I-O. With a big leaf here and a big leaf there, here a leaf, there a leaf, everywhere a big leaf. Old Jack Benny had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Old Jack Benny likes to smoke,
L-S-M-F-T.
Likes to smoke, and that's no joke.
L-S-M-F-T.
With a puff puff here and a puff puff there, here a puff, there a puff, everywhere a puff puff.
Old Jack Benny likes to smoke, L-S-M-F-T.
There's one thing you must learn.
Take a tip from me.
It's so round and it's so firm.
L-S-M-F-T.
With a round here and a firm there. Here a round, there a firm. Everywhere a round firm.
That's one thing that you must learn. Take a tip from me.
Old Jack Benny loves to play
L-S-M-F-T.
on his fiddle night and day.
Ay-yi-yi-yi-yi.
With a squeak, squeak here and a squeak, squeak there. Here a squeak, there a squeak, everywhere a squeak, squeak.
Old Jack Benny always plays L-O-U-S-Y.
Jackson Benny is so cheap.
C-H-E-A-P.
Why, he won't spend a dime a week.
T-I-G-H-T.
With a no-tip here and a no-tip there. Here a no, there a no, everywhere a no-tip.
Old Jack Benny is so cheap. C-H-E-A-P.
Mr. Benny, how do you do?
H-E-L-L-O.
I can always laugh on you.
Ho-ho-ho-ho-ho.
With a hoo-hoo here and a hoo-hoo there. Here a hoo, there a hoo, everywhere a hoo-hoo.
Mr. Benny, how do you do? H-E-L-L-O.
Jackie Benny is so sweet.
Sweet as apple pie.
And he's a fella hard to beat.
B-E-N-N-Y.
With a blue eye here and a blue eye there.
With a hoo-hoo here and a hoo-hoo there.
With a no-tip here and a no-tip there.
With a squeak, squeak here and a squeak, squeak there.
With a round here and a firm there.
With a puff puff here and a puff puff there.
With a big leaf here and a big leaf there. Here a leaf, there a leaf, everywhere a big leaf. Old Jack Benny had a farm. L-S-M-F-T.
Fellas, that was absolutely wonderful. I'm glad you're back, and from now on, I'll let... Excuse me a minute. Hello?
Mr. Benny!
Yes?
Mr. Benny has a car.
T-R-A-S-H.
It's a car that won't go far.
C-R-A-S-H.
With a no clutch here and a no brake there. Here a nick, there a knock, everywhere a nick knock.
Rochester!
I'm not finished yet!
You are too, and goodbye. I like my car, I like my cats, I like my quartet, and Phil, I even like your lousy band. Let's hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, the American Red Cross is in the midst of one of its most important campaigns to continue helping our hospitalized fighting men and veterans both here and overseas, to say nothing of its many other services to our communities. Please give generously to your local Red Cross chapter. Thank you.
Jack will be back in just a minute, but first, here's Basil Rysdale.
As you listen to the chant of the tobacco auctioneer, remember, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
Listen to the words of a man who really knows tobacco, Mr. Charles L. Belvin of Durham, North Carolina. He's been an independent tobacco buyer for 16 years, and he said,
"The makers of Lucky Strike buy good, ripe, mild tobacco. Season after season, I've seen them do it. And take my word for it, the fine tobacco makes one swell smoke. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 16 years.
Quote, the makers of Lucky Strike buy good, ripe, mild tobacco. Unquote. At auction after auction, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Belvin can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Yes.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Certainly.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And this fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real, deep-down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday night we're broadcasting from San Francisco. Now, don't forget, kids, we want to be there for their big frolic Saturday night.
Mr. Benny, I don't want to go on such a long trip.
What?
Last time I went to San Francisco, I was on the train for 8 days.
8 days? What are you talking about? You get on the train here at night, and the next morning you get off.
Oh, get off!
Oh, quiet. Good night.
NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Good health to all from Rexall. It's the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented by the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists.
This is your Rexall family druggist, greeting you this evening with the wish that you and yours are enjoying all the happiness and blessings of this holiday season. More than 19 centuries have passed since men first heard the Christmas message of peace on earth to men of goodwill. But since that night, through thick and thin, in feast or in famine, in good times or bad, men have struggled to be worthy of that blessing. And as long as we keep that goal before us, another 19 centuries from now, men will still be saying, as I say to you tonight for the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 Rexall family druggists, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all from Rexall. And now your Rexall family druggist brings you the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet, with Elliot Lewis, Walter Tetley, Robert North, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharp and his music, our special guest Jack Benny, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. The Harris children, like all others, have been on their best behavior for weeks. Let's go back to yesterday, where we find Alice complimenting her children on their good deportment.
Now, you've been particularly good, baby Alice, and I'm sure Santa Claus will bring you lots of presents tonight.
I hope so, Mommy.
And as for you, honey, you've been just as good as Alice. You've been going to bed early, putting your toys away, and eating all your food. The only thing is you haven't been drinking all your milk.
Well, I tried, but you know how that stuff gags me.
Why, Phil, I'm talking to little Phyllis. Well, where is she? She was here a minute ago.
She went in the den, Mommy. I'll go get her. Phyllis! Phyllis! Mommy wants you to come and... Phyllis, what are you doing with those crayons? I'm going to draw a picture on the wall. Don't do that. You know we got to be good till tonight. But I've been good for 3 weeks now. Alice, that's an awful strain. I know, but it's only a few more hours. Don't crack up now. You've been so good for so long. I know, but as Daddy always says, it ain't been easy, Clyde. Alice, have you asked Mommy and Daddy about Santa Claus yet? No, but I will.
Well, children, what's going on in here?
Yeah, what are you two doing?
Mommy, Daddy, we want to ask a favor. We'd like to stay up and see Santa Claus when he brings the presents tonight.
All right, honey. Okay. You can stay up and see him. But now you kids run along. Now go ahead and play.
Oh, thanks, Daddy. Gee, I can hardly wait for tonight.
Oh, Phil, why did you promise the children that? Now, if they don't see Santa, they'll be very disappointed.
But they're going to see him, because I'm going to dress up like Santa and come down the chimney. They won't be able to tell me from the real one. Yes, dear?
Don't you dress up and make believe you're Santa like last year. Boy, was that corny.
You know something, Alice? I still can't figure out how they knew it was me last year. What did I do that was wrong?
Well, for one thing, you were supposed to come in singing Jingle Bells.
I did.
Yes, I know. But those lyrics, I can still hear them. Ham, hocks, turnips, greens, they melt right in your mouth. A candied yams and a hominy grits, and that's what I like about the South.
And what's wrong with those lyrics?
Well, that isn't the way we sing it up north.
Can I help it if you Yankees don't know the right word? You ever heard of a Brooklyn ham hock?
No, we'll have to get somebody else to play Santa.
Well, I can't understand why I can't do it. I should be able to fool little Phyllis. Why can't I outsmart a 5-year-old?
Maybe it's because you have the brain of a 4-year-old.
Well, if it isn't our little feathered friend, Faye.
Hello, Alice. I just dropped in.
Well, Willie, maybe you can help us. We're trying to think of who we can get to play Santa Claus for the girls tonight. We want to get someone who looks and sounds like the real thing.
Well, I know just the man.
Who?
Me. I shall be glad to portray Christopher Kringle.
Christopher? Well, Donner, my Blitzen. Fine Santa Claus you'd make.
I'd make an excellent one. I'm quite an actor, you know. I can see myself popping out of the chimney, bounding into the living room and saying, ho, 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 and a Merry Christmas to you, little kiddies. And what do you wee darlings desire as a Yuletide memento?
Thank you, Tallulah Bankhead. I'm sorry, Willie, but you're not the right boy.
Well, if you don't want me to help, I won't. I have to run along anyway. I have to meet my girlfriend at the taxidermist.
I hope they did a good job on her.
Say, Phil, I just thought of a perfect one to play Santa Claus. Don Wilson.
Don Wilson? Yeah, old Fatso. Old Fatso, he'd be swell, wouldn't he?
Don is our man. I'll call him right now and see if he can come over tonight.
Hey, that's swell, honey. Gee whiz, now the kids won't be disappointed. Santa will show up. You know, there's something wonderful about watching a kid on Christmas, waiting for Santa and listening for those jingle bells. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Ooh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Ooh, what fun it is to ride in an open sleigh.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
Right over the fields we go, laughing all the way.
Bells on bobtail ring, they're making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Hey!
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Alice Faye was seated by my side.
The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. We got into a drifted bank and we got upsot.
Jingle bells,
hey, ha, 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 ho, ha, ho,
jingle bells,
singing merrily we go.
Jingle bells,
so cold and crisp and light.
Jingle all the way.
Through the night.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in an open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Gee whiz, I hope Don can make it. He's going to be terrific as Santa. Uh-oh. That must be Frankie.
Hi, Curly.
Well, if it ain't Francis, the red-nosed reindeer. Come on in, Nose. Come on in. Hey, you look pretty good, Clyde. Yeah, you look fine. Hey, what do you got in all those packages?
Christmas presents. Got some things for the kids and Alice, and here's something for you, Curly.
For me? Oh, you got a present for little old curly-headed me.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, gee, Frankie. That's sweet of you. I don't know what to say.
It's all right, Curly.
But the thought. You don't know how I appreciated it. Well, it touches me deeply.
If you're going to get sloppy about it, I'll take it back. Don't stand there. Open it up. See what it is.
Gee, Frankie. Just what I wanted. Tissue paper.
The present's under the paper.
Oh.
Here it is.
Why, it's a bottle.
Not just a bottle. It's imported champagne.
You bought a bottle of champagne for me? And gee whiz, it's almost half full, too.
They didn't have any splits, so I bought a Magnum and siphoned it off. Where's Alice?
Oh, she's inside calling Don Wilson. You see, the kids want to see Santa Claus tonight, so we're asking Don to play it.
Why are you getting Don Wilson to play Santa?
Well, what else am I going to do?
We'll let them stay up and see the real Santa Claus.
Yeah, but I don't know what time he's coming and... Can I have that again, Herman?
Yeah. Why don't you let the kids see the real Santa Claus?
You better get some sleep, kid.
So you're another one of those cynics, huh? A wise guy who don't believe.
You do?
Of course. Just because you've never seen him don't mean he's not there. You must realize, Curly, there are some things in life that are inexplicable. There exist certain psychic phenomena that are ethereal and beyond the comprehension of we mere mortals. Don't you agree?
Oh, indubitably.
Curly, you can take my word for it. The real guy will show up. I see him every Christmas.
That don't prove nothing. That proves absolutely nothing. You see a lot of things nobody else sees.
All I got to say is it's a good thing kids have more common sense and faith than some grown-ups, so Christmas wouldn't be much fun. I know that tonight old St. Nick and his reindeer will come flying through the sky. I'll drop by later. Maybe then you'll sing a different tune. Goodbye, infidel.
Poor Remley. He ain't been the same since he switched to Yummy yogurt.
Phil, I called Don, but he can't make it. However, he said he had a lot of active friends, and he'll send one of them over. He said we'd have to pay the actor $10.
So what? It's going to be worth $10 to make the kids happy. Honey, did Don say he could get someone positively? Because this is important now, and I don't want to...
Now, look, honey, Don promised, so stop worrying. He'll be here a little later.
But, Mommy, it's 10 o'clock already, and Santa isn't here yet. Gee, Mommy, do you think maybe he isn't coming?
Now, don't fret, girls. Of course he's coming. So... you better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list and checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
He'll be riding with his reindeer in a great big open sleigh, with a great big bag of presents and you give them all away.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're away. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not try. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
It's after 10. When is that Santa Claus we hired going to show up?
Oh, he'll be here, Phil. Don said he
Hello.
would.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Frankie.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Hey, Renly. What do you got there?
Milk and cookies for Santa Claus. I put them on the mantle for him every year.
Milk and cookies? That old man's been working like a dog tonight. Let's leave him something more nourishing like beer and pretzels.
Don't be a funny drummer. I'll put the milk and cookies over the fireplace. Where are the kids?
They're upstairs waiting for Santa.
Yeah, and I'm waiting, too. When is the guy going to show up? It's after 10 already.
Be patient, Curly. He's got a long trip from the North Pole. Besides, his reindeer ain't as young as they used to be, and it's
keep quiet. I'm paying the guy $10. You'd think he'd get here on time.
This subterfuge is also unnecessary.
Uh-oh. That must be Santa now. I'll let him in, honey.
I'll go with you, honey.
Yeah, come on. Well, Merry Christmas, Santa Claus. Hello, Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, and where's my $10?
Oh, come on in, Jack.
Hey, Jackson, what are you doing here?
Well, Don Wilson happened to mention that you were in the market for a Santa Claus, and you were paying $15. So I thought I might as well pick up the 20.
Wait a minute. The fee is $10. But, Jackson, since when do you have to go around playing Santa Claus for money?
Oh, Phil, please, I'm not doing it just for the money. There are other reasons. I'm doing it because, and there's, I could go on naming reasons like that. Oh, hello, Frankie. Merry Christmas. How do I look in my Santa Claus outfit?
Like a road company of Milton Berle. Fine-looking Santa Claus.
I think I look charming.
Charming, you say? Where'd you get that messy red suit? It's got spots all over it.
I rented it. Santa Claus had it last year, was a sloppy eater. Well, how do you think I look?
Like a bloodshot leopard.
I think you look ridiculous. Get a load of that white beard. Where'd you rent that moth-eating thing?
That I didn't rent. I was playing canasta with Monty Woolley, and I won it. Of course, you people don't like me as Santa Claus.
Oh, pay no attention to these two, Jack. I think you make a wonderful Santa Claus, and you're worth what we're paying you. Phil, give Jack the $10.
Okay. Here you are, Jackson.
Thanks.
Oh, gee, little Phyllis will get a kick out of this. I'll go call her, and Jack, try to convince her you're really Santa Claus, won't you?
Little Phyllis? Phil, I thought I was doing this for your benefit. If it's for a little Phyllis, I wouldn't think of taking money.
No, it's okay, Jackson. The deal's a deal.
Oh, please, don't embarrass
But,
me.
Jackson,
If it's for the kid, I wouldn't think of taking the $10.
Well, if you insist...
$7.50 is plenty. What kind of a heel do you think I am? Now, Phil...
Well, it's mighty sweet of you, Jackson, to play Santa Claus for my 2 kids.
2 kids? $7.50 each. No, I can't take any money. I can't take any money at all. Tell you what, Phil, if you wanna, you can buy me a little something for Christmas.
Like what?
Anything that Alice can afford.
Okay, Jackson, but now look, it's up to you now to make the kids think that you're Santa.
This impersonation is preposterous. Santa Claus won't like this. Besides, you'll never be able to fool the kids.
Oh, I don't know. With this costume and bag of toys over my shoulder, I shouldn't have any trouble.
No, but it would be awful if you wouldn't, if you don't fool them, Jackson, and they'd... Oh, gee, if there was only some kid we could try you out on just to see if you could fool them and...
Hey, where are you? I brought something for you.
Julius. Hey, Frankie, that's just the kid we need. Hey, come on in here, Julius. Now, look, Jackson, if you can fool this kid, you can fool anybody.
Oh, don't worry, Phil. I'll just sit her in this chair here, and you watch his reaction when he sees me.
Okay, Dad, and I certainly hope...
What, Mr. Harris? I come over to... Hey, Mr. Harris, don't you feel a little chilly?
No, why?
You left your red flannels lying on that chair.
Look, I'm not Red Flannels. Don't you recognize me, Sonny?
You look familiar.
I'll give you a hint. I'm that jolly old man with the white beard.
Well, if it ain't Gabby Hayes.
He ain't Gabby Hayes, Julius. Look, he's wearing a red suit, and he's got a beard. What is he?
A Bolshevik. What's he got over his shoulder? A bag of bombs?
Julius, don't you recognize Santa Claus when you see him?
This is Santa Claus?
That's right, son. I'm old St. Nick.
You can't do this to us little kids. For juvenile humanity, I protest this flagrant disrespect.
Oh, shut up! Now sit on my lap and tell me what you want for Christmas, or I'll break every bone in your body. That's the kind of a Santa Claus I am.
Get away from me, you imposter, you. You're nothing but a fake.
I am not.
Oh, no. What would I find if I lifted up that white wig?
A brown one.
I thought so. Wait till I see the real Santa tonight. He ain't gonna like it when I tell him he's being impersonated by some old bald-headed snook.
See, there goes a cute little child. He has all the charm of a wet cigar. He has the personality of a torn pocket.
Like I told you, you can't fool
Well,
kids.
you could fool a kid. He's not a kid. He's a wise guy. He's not a barometer.
What?
Barometer. I don't know what it means. We'll look it up after.
Well, I certainly don't see it here.
You stay out of there. You know very well that Julius is too old anyway. He's a lot older than my kids. Now, when the girls come down, they won't know the difference because Jackson looks old enough to be able...
Come on, children. Come along. Santa's right in here. Well, there he is.
Gee, Santa Claus. Hello, Santa.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas and hello again. This is Santa Claus talking. Come here, children, and tell me how you like old Santa.
We like you fine, Santa. You're just like we pictured you. Yes, but, Santa,
What is it, my child?
you look awfully old.
Ho, ho, ho. I am, little girl. After all, I'm Santa Claus, and I've lived for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
How old are you?
39. Well, old Santa has to be going now. Here are your toys, girls.
Thank you, Santa. Yeah, thanks.
Well, I'll be seeing you next year. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Up, dancer, up, prancer, up, donner, and do. Ho, ho, ho!
The big ham.
Well, children, what did you think of Santa Claus?
I liked him, but I was a little disappointed.
Why?
I expected him to take out his violin and play Love and Blue.
You mean you kids knew it was Mr. Benny?
Sure. But we didn't want to say anything and hurt his feelings. Daddy, when is the real Santa coming?
Well, well, you see, honey,
He'll be here soon, kid.
Oh, Frankie. Look, kids, he may be here too late. Look, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a Christmas story, and then will you run off to bed?
Well, all right, Daddy. But we wanted so much to see him.
I know. Well, maybe next year. Now, look, sit on my lap, and I'll tell you a beautiful Christmas story. You ready? 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. I thought I heard sleigh bells. No. The children were nestled, all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced through their heads. Alice, what are those bells? What's the...
Shh. Quiet, Curly.
Phyllis, look, in the fireplace. It's Santa Claus, the real one.
But...
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Frankie, who are you talking to? I don't see anybody.
The kids do. Look at them.
Gee, Santa, we knew you'd come. You couldn't fool us with any make-believe Santa Claus. We were waiting just for you. Oh, sure, we've been very good girls. Oh, what a lovely dollhouse. Thank you. And all these things are for me? Can I open them now? All right, Santa, we'll wait till morning. Thank you very much. And a Merry Christmas to you, too, Santa. Of course we'll tell them. Merry Christmas. And goodbye, Santa Claus. Bye.
I told you he'd show up, Curly.
But Frankie, I don't get it. I heard it, but I didn't see him.
Of course you didn't. He sure is a nice-looking old gent.
Alice, did you see him?
I'm not sure, Phil. I almost thought I saw him standing by the fireplace.
But Alice, how could it be? If he was standing...
Phil, what are you staring at?
The mantle. Alice. The milk and cookies. They're gone.
Alice and Phil will be back in just a moment. But right now, here's your Rexall family druggist.
For a lot of Sunday evenings now, it's been my privilege to talk with you for the makers of Rexall drug products and the 10,000 independent family druggists who recommend and sell them. Though we're big in numbers, we have a strong family feeling. And since Christmas is such a special family occasion, I want to speak directly tonight to all the Rexall druggists listening in. We're proud that you have chosen to make our family name part of your own. We are proud of the way the towns and communities you serve like and respect you, and of the active part you play in civic life. And so tonight, wherever you are, from Maine to California, from the St. Lawrence to the Rio Grande, Merry Christmas to you and to all your customers.
Merry Christmas to all from Rexall.
Alice, Phyllis, Santa said something to you, and you said, yes, we'll tell them. What did he say?
He told us to be sure and wish you and Daddy a Merry Christmas.
He did? Hey, wasn't that swell of him? Look, kids, now you're all tucked in, you've seen Santa, and you've had everything you want, so will you go right to sleep?
Good night, girls.
Good night.
Good night, babies. You know something, Alice? We're lucky to have two sweet kids like that. They're little darlings.
Daddy.
Yes, dear?
Can I have a drink of water?
Go to sleep!
Stay tuned for Sam Spade and Two Great Stars on Theater Guild on NBC.
Speaking of radio, the Jack Benny program.
Ladies and gentlemen, the National Broadcasting Company is taking over the remainder of this evening's Jell-O show for a special program which they have prepared. May I now introduce to you my good friend Ken Carpenter.
Thanks, Don. Ladies and gentlemen, last Friday night, NBC had a special program dedicated to Jack Benny's 10th anniversary on the air. For that particular occasion, a musical tribute to Jack had been prepared, but due to a limitation of time, we were unable to include this in the broadcast. However, we feel that you, Jack Benny's listeners, would like to hear this salutation. So if Jack and the rest of the cast will take seats in the audience, we will proceed with the life of Jack Benny in music. Okay, let's go. "47 years ago, Waukegan, Illinois, was a little-known settlement boasting a few scattered stores, one of which was owned by one Meyer Benny. There was much excitement around Mr. Benny's store the day we start our story, easily explained by the cries of the newsboys on the neighboring streets.
Extra! Extra! A message from the store. Mr. Benny found a baby boy when he came home from work. He's proudly handing out cigars and boasting he will be the father of a president in 1903. The father of a president in 1903.
As Jack remembers only too well, his father's predominant characteristic was strictness. He was the sort of a man who regarded the raising of a youngster as stern business. On the occasion of bringing his first report card home from school, we find Jack approaching his father with considerable alarm.
Let me look at your report card, Jack, my boy.
Jack, my boy.
I am sure my heart will overflow with joy.
Flow with joy.
What's this? English C, Algebra D, History D, Geography F. He draws his maps in the treble clef.
Scholarship 4, Deportment 4, Scholarship 4, Deportment 4.
I just can't do a thing with him. He won't study, he won't work. I can't make him concentrate. He'll be the death of me, a bad influence. Thinks of music all the time. Music.
Deportment 4, Scholarship 4, Deportment 4.
What's this? Music A? Music A?
Yes, Jack's main interest as a child was the violin. He hated to practice, but he loved to play, especially with his devoted grandmother for an audience. She would sit for hours in the cold parlor alone on the row of chairs that were supposed to represent the audience, while her grandson played show for her. He played comedian.
Who was that lady? I tell you what, there was no lady.
Magician.
Now watch me very closely. I have nothing up my sleeve.
Dancer. Singer.
Waukegan's praise are funny.
Violin. spite of his intense dislike for practice, Jack soon attained sufficient skill to play in the junior orchestra of Waukegan, and occasionally in a reel-for-shore dance orchestra in one of the neighboring towns. Then, suddenly, out of a clear blue sky, the bolt fell. Jack was expelled from high school for spending his afternoons in a vaudeville theater.
Yes, they threw out our hero, alas and alas. The burdens of school were too much for poor Jack.
He much preferred to hang around the Barrison Theater, worshiping the ingenue and wondering what they paid her. He got a job as doorman so he could watch the stars emerging from this wondrous place and help them to their cars.
He got in the orchestra after a bit and played violin with the boys in the pit.
From his seat in the orchestra pit, Jack reveled in the imposing array of stars of that year. The Marx Brothers, Marilyn Miller, Joe Cook, Chick Sale, all the big-time acts played there. When the theater closed, some months later, the leader of the orchestra, Cora Salisbury, asked Jack to join her in a violin and piano act. He consented, and a new act was born. Salisbury and Benny, from Grand Opera to Ragtime. Jack Benny's apprenticeship was served in musty old theaters with a few worn pieces of scenery, a two-piece orchestra in the pit, cramped dressing room in the cellar, rats that ate the grease paint right off the shelves, but he loved it. 4 years of this until a family illness called Cora back to Waukegan. Jack's adventure was over. There was nothing for him to do but to go to work in his father's store. He waited on the customers with his mind a million miles away.
Some pink and white suspenders, please. My brother needs a pair.
Gosh, Eva Tangway, singing I Don't Care. Have you any black silk socks, size 11, please? Jolson was sensational singing Mammy on his knees.
Selling men's apparel only filled young Jack with loathing. He wanted to be next to closing instead of next to clothing.
Dissatisfied as a salesman, Jack began to look around for a new partner. Friends told him of a great piano player in Chicago, and they formed an act. Benny and Woods, 10 Minutes of Syncopation. The act went so well that by the third season, they received an offer from one of New York's biggest agents. He not only agreed to handle them in New York, but proceeded to book them immediately into that mecca of all vaudevillians, the Palace.
New York, 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 New York.
Now every act that's ever been from Jacksonville to Chickapin has always wanted to be in the Palace.
Though they're a wow and Kankakee and get a raise in salary, their ultimate goal will always be the Palace.
We'll kill 'em in the palace, we'll slay 'em in the palace, we'll wow 'em in the palace, we'll lay 'em in the aisles. They'll love us in the palace, they'll cheer us in the palace.
Benny and Woods were a flop in the Palace. Some performers are doomed forever to be second-raters, never to reach the big time. Violinist Jack Benny was one of these. He would never succeed. Well, it was after Jack joined the Navy that he discovered himself to be a comedian. There was nothing mysterious about it. He appeared in the Great Lakes Review, and the author, Dave Wolf, gave him a few lines to speak, and people laughed at him, that was all. When the war ended, Jack went back to vaudeville, but as a single this time, emphasizing comedy and using the violin just to fill out the act. Not long after that, Jack fell in love. He was wandering around the May Company in Los Angeles one day in search of a new career.
I beg your pardon, but where can I find men's suits?
4 aisles over and 3 aisles down.
Well, thank you. Oh, by the way, what do you sell?
I sell ladies' hosiery and things.
Oh, yes, I just remembered. That's what I need, some ladies' hosiery and things. For my sister.
Really?
Can I help you in your selection?
Definitely. Here, and when I buy my suit, and whenever I need anything else.
Ha, ha, ha. That's fine. That's just fine.
Guess what her name was? Guess what her name was?
My name was Mary Marks that day that Benny bought his suit. But now I'm Mary Livingston and Mrs. Benny to boot.
Her name is Mary Livingston and Mrs. Benny to boot.
As Mrs. Jack Benny, Mary tried hard to forget the comfortable security she'd given up for a portable existence in hotels and trains, but she was pretty unhappy the first year, packing, unpacking, checking in, checking out.
Whenever Jack would play a town that Mary thought was swell, she'd find a nice apartment and fix it up real well. And just when she'd begin to think that they were there to stay, Jack would get a booking 1,500 miles away. One day he got an offer to do a Broadway show.
That's for me, said Mary. Just say the word. Let's go. We'll get a nice apartment near Central Park, and then we'll hope and trust and pray we'll never have to move again.
So Jack assumed the starring role in Carol's Vanities, and they were sitting pretty as you please. But just when they had signed a lease and paid the bills they owed, the Vanities closed its New York run and went out on the road.
So Jack turned to radio as a solution to his problem. He auditioned and auditioned and auditioned to no avail. Finally, the New York columnist, Ed Sullivan, invited Jack to make a guest appearance on his program. A far cry from his familiar Jello again, these are the first words that Jack Benny ever uttered on the air.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jack Benny talking. There will be a slight pause while you say, who cares? You know, Ed, I just got in from Hollywood, but I'm going back in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be in a new picture with Greta Garbo. They sent me the story last week, and it's a very novel idea. When the picture first opens, I'm found dead in the bathroom. It's sort of a mystery picture. I'm found in the bathtub on Wednesday night.
It wasn't long before Jack had his first sponsor, Canada Dry, and that was the start of a career almost unsurpassed in radio. He had swell help at first from writer Harry Kahn, but in recent years his authors have been Bill Morrow and Ed Beloin. And let us not forget Harry Baldwin, Jack's faithful secretary, who's been with him ever since his early days in radio. Most of America listens on Sunday nights to hear the familiar strains of
J-A-Hello to you, J-A-Hello to you.
You'll hear this old familiar sound on every Sunday night.
When Jack Benny comes around to make your Sabbath bright.
J-A-Hello to you means half an hour of fun that's new.
He'll tell you how he killed him at a Wednesday matinee.
Complain about the awful salaries that he has to pay.
No matter what he talks about, you're glad to hear him say, J-A-Hello to you. We must have music, so play, Phil. You're okay, Phil. You know the way, Phil.
He murders the English language and he panics all the dame.
He plays a kind of music a jitterbug acclaims.
And Benny found out long ago you simply can't embarrass Phil Harris. We must have a singer, so sing, Benny. Your fans are many, so sing, Benny.
He's as Irish as a shillelagh.
Yeah, shillelagh.
And he hits a high C daily.
Yeah, daily.
Whenever Jack puts on a play, the boy that plays the menace is Dennis. We must have an announcer, so Seldon, do it well done. Give him Don. He wears a cool 265 and Benny loves to kid him. It must have been those 6 delicious flavors that undid him.
But when they need a man to push the Maxwell up the hill, son, it's Wilson.
We must have a comedian, so here's Mary, 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 quite contrary.
She reads the most outrageous poems that you have ever heard. And when she isn't doing that, she's giving Jack the bird.
The one who has Jack Benny on the verge of Harry Carey is Mary. We must have a butler, so bring on Rochester. I'm coming, boss. Bring on Rochester.
He's a dusky devil, but on the level, he's really a wonderful yes man. His main concern is he'd like to learn what happened to the gas man.
There's always a crowd around him, as
asking for autographs. Jack and Mary do all the work and he gets all the laughs. The folks back in Waukegan, there's a sort of testimonial. Planted a tree for Jack one day in manner ceremonial. Now this made quite a hit with Jack, and proudly he would boast, but the poor tree died.
Fred Allen says it's because the sap was on the coast.
J.E.L. hello to you. J.E.L. hello to you.
When Jack does his programs away from home, you may have heard him say just before signing off,
"Good night, Joni."
Joni is his baby girl, and Jack carries her picture and brags about her just like any proud father. And so on his 10th anniversary in radio, we paid tribute to a man who has consistently topped the list of radio comedians, a man who has made the world laugh and laughs at the world, a man who still remembers the friends he made on the way up, comedian, star maker, and good fellow,
Jack Benny.
Jack Benny.
Jack Benny. We say jello to you.
Thanks to NBC and you, Ken Carpenter, and to Gordon Jenkins for a swell job of directing. And thanks to all the others who participated. Really was a thrill, and I got a big kick out of it. I'm sure my cast did, too.
Say, Jackson, did you hear the wonderful tribute Fred Allen gave you last Wednesday?
Tribute? Certainly I heard it. But what do you mean, tribute?
He did your biology, didn't he?
That's biography. Biology is with the bees. Alan was supposed to eulogize me for 60 minutes, and he practically ignored me. And after all I've done for that guy.
What have you ever done for Alan?
What have I... Did you hear that, Mary? When Alan first broke into show business, who gave him a friendly pat on the back?
You did.
Yeah, who gave him advice?
You did.
Who gave him money when he needed it?
You did?
Yes, I did. And that shows you how grateful Alan is. Well, that's all you can expect from that guy.
Come in. Pardon me, I was looking for the washroom, but this will do. Why, Fred! Jack, I really dropped in tonight.
Wait a minute, Fred, wait a minute. Let me look at you.
Yeah?
Gee, you're looking swell.
Yeah?
I've never seen you have such rosy-colored bags under your eyes.
Look, Jack, I dropped in...
And a pained expression. You look like a hen trying to lay a basketball. I'm getting mine in first.
Well, all right, Jack.
And those wrinkles. Honestly, Fred, your face looks like a convertible with the top halfway down. You know?
Now, sit down, little man. You must be tired after that Bob Hopian outburst. Ladies and gentlemen, please tune in your radios an hour from now when this nature boy of the gay 90s is a guest on my program without his writers.
Now, Fred, what...
Benny, without his writers, you can't tell Benny from Mr. Hush.
Now, wait a minute, Fred. What do you...
And he should talk about the way I look. Benny's hairline has receded so far, he combs his eyebrows to keep up his morale.
Fred,
I have seen more fuzz on a harvest moon. I'd hate to be drowning and have someone throw me a line like that.
Persimmon face. Look at what did you come barging in here for anyway?
Well, frankly, I didn't drop in here to see you, Jack. It's Mary I'd like to talk to. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Fred. What is it you wanted?
Well, Mary, you can do me a great favor. I came...
Hiya, Frederick. Long time no see.
Well, if it isn't Phil Harris, Hollywood's answer to, "Look, Ma, I'm drinking." there's Dennis Day. Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Mr. Allen.
Look, Fred, we're doing a program. Now, what do you want to see Mary about?
Yes, Fred, what is it?
Well, Mary, every now and then, Portland likes to take a couple of weeks off my program, and I thought a hungry girl like you might like to take her place.
Well, thanks, Fred, but I don't think I could take Portland's place.
Oh, yes, you could. Why don't you just try reading a line or two?
Wait a minute. Fred, I don't want my program sounding like yours.
I had 3 answers to that, Mr. Benny. 2 of them the censor took out, and the third one I wouldn't dare tell without an airwick on the premises.
Oh, Jack, I'll just imitate Portland for a second. It won't sound like Fred's program.
Well, go ahead, Mary.
Well, all right. Oh, Mr. Allen! Mr. Allen!
What is it, Portland?
I'm from the South, the deep South, that is. Terrible. I'm not wrong for this room.
Dennis.
Howdy, Bob.
Look, Fred, will you please let me run my own show? This is worse than last week when Bob Hope dropped in on us unexpectedly.
Not worse than last week. No.
We used up so much time, my program was cut off the air 10 seconds too soon.
Well, I thought it was cut off 30 minutes too late.
Well, only a friendly feud, of course. We didn't plan it, though. It came up by accident. Fred said something one night on his show, and I picked it up the next week. Then he picked it up, then I picked it up. And we were in the feud for about 8 months before we even did anything about it. And the feud went on until he passed away.
Yeah. Well, that was really a great thing.
Sure was.
You crossed over every week almost, didn't you?
Sure. And then we would go on each other's shows. He was probably the best comedian, the best one to ever have a feud with, because he was the funniest. He's a great writer, that's why. Great wit.
It's a shame you can't stay over, Fred, so we could appear together. It'd be like old times.
Say, Mr. Benny, did you and Mr. Allen once do an act together in vaudeville?
We sure did, Rochester. We had a lot of fun in those days.
Oh, gosh. Remember, Jack, how we'd always celebrate with a big dinner at Lindy's every time we got a job?
Yeah, we'd always get the best. Shrimp cocktail, turtle soup, chef salad,
filet mignon, stuffed potatoes, strawberry shortcake.
Then I'd top it all off with a big glass of Ovaltine.
Ovaltine?
Well, he wanted to be asleep when the check came.
Those were the good old days. I'll never forget the time we rehearsed and polished our act for weeks. And we went to see Mickey Rockford, the biggest booking agent in New York. Come on, Fred. I think Mr. Rockford's office is down the hall.
Hey, it's crowded in here, Jack.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to talk to the secretary. Miss, we'd like to see Mr. Rockford.
Do you have an appointment?
Appointment? Yes. We're Benny and Allen.
Benny and Allen?
Yes. Don't you recognize us?
Why? Is there a reward?
You don't understand, girlie. We do a vaudeville act.
Really? Which one throws the fish?
Say, that is clever. Miss, you ought to be in show business yourself.
Me in show business?
Yes. I know a magician who saws a woman in half. You'd look better in 2 pieces.
Take it easy, Fred. Look, miss, we don't want to argue. We'd just like to see our agent, Mr. Rockford.
Well, first I'll need some information. Now, what's the name of your act again?
Allen and Benny.
I thought you said it was Benny and Allen.
Well, at 2:00, our billing changes.
Well, what kind of an act do you do?
Violin, clarinet, and snappy patter.
And where have you played?
Oh, all over.
Well, where?
Well, just tell her the important dates, Jack.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we did a week in Sow Belly, Wyoming. A
A week in Loose Tooth, Arizona. 3 days in Stagnant Water, New Mexico. And we also played the Palace here in New York.
Sow belly, loose tooth, stagnant water, and the Palace. Well, at least you worked your way up.
No, we played the Palace first.
Well, Mr. Rockford's busy right now, so just have a seat and I'll call you.
All right.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Allen, I don't mean to be personal, but are you an American citizen?
Yes, I got these slant eyes from pulling off a tight derby.
Come on, Fred, let's sit down.
Yes? Yes. Oh, very well, Mr. Rockford. Oh, boys, Mr. Rockford will see you now.
Good, good. Come on, Fred, let's go in.
Okay.
Well, come on in, fellas. Come on in. Close the door. Sit down.
Thank you. Mr. Rockford, I'm Jack Benny. This is Fred Allen.
That's right, Mr. Rockford. Remember, you booked our act in the Palace 7 years ago.
Oh, yes. What business are you in now?
Well, we're still in show business.
Yes, and we thought you could book us.
Please, fellas.
Our new act is sensational. At least give us a chance, Mr. Rockford.
Yes, all we need is one good break, you know.
I gave you a break when I put you in Lowe's Flatbush.
Some break. They opened with Fink's Mules, then Major Doty's Dogs came out, then Manny's Monkeys, then Power's Dancing Elephants.
So what?
Well, by the time we came out, we looked like the last two passengers on Noah's Ark.
Well, look, boys, I'm very busy.
Please, Mr. Rockford, just listen to our opening number. It'll only take a second.
All right, but before you... Oh, excuse me. Here, come in.
Mr. Rockford, here's the 10% commission I owe you for booking my act last week.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. A cute boy. Sonny, what's your name?
Eddie Cantor.
Eddie Cantor?
Potatoes are cheaper. Tomatoes are cheaper. Now's the time to fall in love.
Mr. Rockford, how about listening to our new act?
Oh, all right, if you insist.
Ready with your clarinet, Fred?
Ready.
Okay. 1, 2. Mr. Allen.
What is it, Mr. Benny?
Have you heard that they're making women's bathing suits out of spun glass?
Women's bathing suits out of glass? Well, that's worth looking into.
I'll take it, Mr. Allen.
If you will. You know, Mr. Benny,
yes, Mr. Allen?
pardon me. I love music.
So do I. Music once saved my uncle's life.
Well, how did music save your uncle's life?
They played the Star-Spangled Banner just as he was sitting in the electric chair. Take it, Mr. Allen.
You know.
You don't have to finish it, you know.
Oh, Mr. Benny.
Yes, Mr. Allen.
I want you to meet my new girl. Her name is Well Enough.
Why do you call your girl Well Enough?
Because I want the boys to leave Well Enough alone. How about the finale, Mr.
In unison? All right. Mr. Rockford, what do you think of it?
Wait till he gets his head out of the drawer.
Maybe he's looking for a contract.
Fellas.
Yes, Mr. Rockford.
To tell you the truth, fellas, I'm confused. The whole act leaves me cold. It's neither fish nor fowl.
Well, that's funny. The last agent we went to thought it was both.
Well, Mr. Rockford, you mean you can't book us anywhere?
Well, actually, I don't have a thing open for a double. Have either of you considered doing a single?
What? And break up the act?
Why, we've been together for years. You can't split Benny and Alan.
It's ridiculous. We're more than just a team. We're partners, friends, buddies. Why, we'd rather starve than let anything come between us.
Well, that's a shame because I've got an opening for a single in Scranton for $15 a week.
I'll take it.
Well, if that's the way you feel, I'll take it for $14 a week, Mr. Rockford.
Fred, you'd steal a job away from your partner, your buddy, your friend?
Some friend. What did you ever do for me?
Why, you puff-eyed ingrate. For years, we've lived off my violin, my brains, my talent, my joke.
And my money. And listen, you miser. As for your violin playing, I have heard cleaner notes from a toothless Russian sipping borscht. You are just lucky you've had me and my clarinet.
Clarinet? The only way you could make a living with that clarinet is if you put a nail on the end of it and went out in the park. Mr. Rockford, rather than let you hire this no-talented wage cutter, I'll take the job for $10 a week.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll take it for $8.
I'll take it for $5.
Well, I'll take it for $3.
Well, I'll take it for nothing.
So will I.
Well, at that price, I can afford both of you.
Yes, did you hear that? We're working.
Fred!
Yes!
Dental Cream presents The Dennis Day Show, written by Frank Galen, with Paula Winslow, Dink Trout, John Brown, Charles Dant in the orchestra, yours truly, Vern Smith, and starring our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Twice a day and before every date, use Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. Here's Dennis to sing McNamara's Band.
Oh, me name is McNamara, I'm the leader of the band. Although we're few in numbers, we're the finest in the land. We play at wakes and weddings and at every fancy ball. And when we play to funerals, we play the march from Saul. Oh, the drums go bang and the cymbals clang and the horns they blaze away. McCarthy pumps the old bassoon while I the pipes do play. And Hennessy toodles the flute and the music something grand. A credit to old Ireland is McNamara's band.
Oh, what a parade we're having here. The grandest parade I've ever seen in all my life. You never see the likes of it.
Right now we are rehearsing for a very swell affair. The annual celebration, all the gentry will be there. When Eisenhower to Ireland came, he took me by the hand. Says he, I never saw the likes of McNamara's band. Oh, what a band you have there. The greatest thing I've ever seen in all my life. Oh, my name is Uncle Julius, and from Sweden I have come to play with McNamara's band and big the bass like drum. And when I march along the street, the ladies think I'm grand. They shout, there's Uncle Julius playing bit an Irish band. The drums go bang and the cymbals clang and the horns they blaze away. McCarthy pumps the old bassoon while I the pipes do play. And Tennessee toodles the flute and the music's something grand. A credit to old Ireland is McNamara's band. It's the grandest and the finest and the most wonderful band that I've ever seen. If you don't agree, just to be sociable, I'll fight the best man in the house. And I'm not long for this world. Credit to old Ireland is McNamara's band.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. No other toothpaste does a better job of cleaning your teeth than Colgate Dental Cream. For Colgate Dental Cream has a safe polishing agent that cleans your teeth both gently and thoroughly, brings out their natural sparkle and beauty. And scientific tests prove that Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. Yes, actual scientific tests prove conclusively that in 7 out of 10 cases, Colgate Dental Cream instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. Colgate Dental Cream is famous for its wonderful wake-up flavor, too. Nationwide tests of leading toothpastes prove that Colgate Dental Cream is preferred for flavor over other brands tested. So try Colgate Dental Cream to bring out the natural sparkle and beauty of your teeth. For a wake-up flavor you'll thoroughly enjoy. And use Colgate Dental Cream twice a day and before every date to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. Well, it's late afternoon as we look in at the Anderson boarding house in Weaverville, where our young hero, Dennis Day, rooms. An afternoon you might think like any other. But if you did, you'd be wrong. For as far as our hero is concerned, it's just about the greatest afternoon of his life. He's just burst open the front door of the Anderson house in a state of wild excitement to come face to face with his astonished girlfriend, Mildred Anderson.
Mildred, the evening paper. Is it here? My picture's in it, Mildred. My picture.
Your picture?
Yeah, for the Weaverville safety campaign to cut down street accidents. You see, some people cross the streets outside of the safety zone, some cross against the lights, some cross diagonally from corner to corner.
But why did they take your picture?
I was the first person to do everything wrong at the same time.
Oh, so that's it.
Sure, I'm famous. I've been chosen the pedestrian most likely to decease. Isn't it wonderful?
Well, yes, I guess so. How long has this safety campaign been going on?
Oh, it started this morning. The mayor began it himself with speeches at the corner of 3rd and Elm and from the hospital.
Gee, 2 speeches in one morning?
Well, it was really one speech continued. While he was speaking at the corner of 3rd and Elm, a car hit him.
Well, the paper's right here. Let's see now.
Look, right there, on page 1. Read that caption.
Do you wish to visit a cemetery permanently? All you have to do is walk across the street in the criminally careless manner of Dennis Day, 22, whose photo appears above.
That's me.
At first, Mr. Day was believed drunk or crazy, but it was later learned he walks this way all the time.
I'm going to send clippings to all my friends.
Well, they've certainly given you quite a... Why, Dennis.
Huh?
The picture. It isn't your picture at all.
Oh, Mildred, you must be mistaken.
I'm not. Look. Your hair's black. This man's a blonde. You're clean-shaven. He has a mustache. You have a small nose, and he has a great big one. And you're wearing a blue suit. He has on a gray one with a Dewey button in the lapel. Don't you see?
Gee, you're right. It can't be me. I'm a Democrat.
Of course it isn't you. They ran a picture of another man over your story.
Oh, that's a fine thing. I nearly get myself killed, and they give someone else credit for it.
Yes, I know how you feel.
Gee whiz.
Well, I'm going over to Aunt Marjorie's house for dinner. I guess I won't see you till tomorrow.
Well, okay, Mildred. Darn it anyway. And I was going to use that picture to start a couple of scrapbooks for our children.
Gee. Do you really think we'll have some someday, Dennis?
Why not? I saw some swell ones for sale at Woolworth's the other day. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Mildred.
Dinner will be ready as soon as Dennis comes down, Herbert.
Very well, Poopsie.
By the way, isn't it about time you had a little talk with your daughter about that young man?
No, I doubt if it'll do much good. I probably won't get any further with her than I do with you, dream thing.
Well, see that you try. Hand me that evening paper over there on the table, Herbert.
Yes, lover girl. May I look at my part of it?
Here.
Thank you. My, the classified ad section is bigger than usual tonight. Great Scott.
What's the matter?
Why, right here on page 18, among the ads, there's a picture of Dennis Day.
Dennis Day? What's his picture doing in the paper?
Well, listen to what it says under. Still missing after 4 years' search, Schuyler Van Rensselaer, heir to the great Van Rensselaer sardine fortune, pictured above, is believed amnesia victim.
You mean... Oh, Herbert, it can't be Dennis Day.
It must be. It's his picture.
Amnesia. So that's it. I knew no one could act like Dennis does and be normal. Oh, that poor, unfortunate, dear, sweet, rich boy.
Gosh, Dennis Day isn't Dennis Day, the soda jerk, at all. He's Schuyler Van Rensselaer, who was in the fish business.
I knew there was something about that boy.
Really? Well, I've stood very close to him, and I never noticed it.
Read the rest of it, Herbert.
Well, it just says, young Van Rensselaer was born November 17th, 1926. His brother and sister are offering $10,000 reward to anyone successfully aiding him in the recovery of his memory.
10,000? Herbert, we've got to bring back that boy's memory. My maternal instincts have been aroused.
Yes, I know how you feel. Well, say I hear him coming downstairs now.
Now, I'll handle this, Herbert. You aren't to say one word until I tell you. Do you understand?
Very well.
Hello, Mrs. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, dinner ready yet?
Dennis, I want to talk to you.
To me, Mrs. Anderson?
Yes. Do you know who you are, my boy?
Why, yes, ma'am, I think so.
Who?
Well, offhand, I'd say I was me.
No.
I'm not?
Definitely not. We have proof.
Gee, I was so certain, too.
Now, Dennis, try to think. Do you remember your father?
Oh, sure. He was a relative of mine.
Did he ever discuss with you what you'd be doing in your later life?
Well, let's see. I do remember my father saying he hoped I'd grow up.
Yes?
That's all.
We'll try a new tack. What do you know about your birth?
Well, I'm pretty sure it happened.
I don't mean that. Do you remember where you were born?
Well, Mother told me it was in a small town out west.
Wrong. You were born in a big eastern city.
Oh. Well, anyway, it was in 1925.
Wrong again. It was 1926.
In June?
November.
Gee, Mother didn't know much about me, did she?
Herbert, you may take over.
Yes, Poopsie. Now, Dennis, I want you to concentrate.
Yes, sir. On what?
Sardines.
Yes, sir.
Are you concentrating on sardines?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now tell me, who is your father?
A sardine?
Poopsie, you may have it back again.
I give up. No. Wait a minute. Of course. You know how loss of memory is always cured in the movies. A sudden blow on the head.
Yeah.
Hand me the fire tongs, Herbert.
Poopsie, no, you can't. We're not sure he is Schuyler Van Rensselaer.
So if he's Dennis Day, have I lost anything?
No, Poopsie, but there must be another way. If the boy has two selves, we'll bring the other one out. And meanwhile, let's go into dinner, huh?
Yeah, that's a good idea, Mrs. Anderson. Both of me is very hungry.
Now, before we continue a day in the life of Schuyler Van Rensselaer, here's our young hero, Dennis Day, to sing I'll Never Love Again.
I'll never love again if you forget me, my on you. I'll never dream again. How could I go on dreaming if each dream that we made would have suddenly fade in the glow? I'll never thrill again to someone's kiss. For what good would it do if you I'll miss? My heart is yours alone. So be careful, don't break it. For if you ever should, darling, I never could love again.
Well, because of a transposed newspaper photograph, the Andersons are convinced that Dennis Day is really Schuyler Van Rensselaer, suffering from amnesia. It's the following morning now, and Dennis has left for his job at Willoughby's drugstore. Meanwhile, Mrs. Anderson is enlisting Mr. Willoughby's aid over the phone in restoring Dennis's memory.
But, Mrs. Anderson, it's incredible. You're positive it was his picture? Yeah. Well, we've got to restore that poor boy's memory. Not only for the $10,000 reward, but for other reasons, which don't interest me. Huh? Well, shock sometimes snaps them out of it. I may try that. Yes, you see, shock. Oh, I'll have to hang up, Mrs. Anderson. Here he comes.
Good morning, Mr. Willoughby. I beg your pardon, sir?
Quick, what's your name?
Mr. Willoughby, do you feel all right?
Of course I do. What's your name?
Gee, if you can't remember it, don't go near Mrs. Anderson. She'll let you have it with a fire tongue.
Dennis, you need help. You've got to recover your true identity of Schuyler Van Rensselaer.
Yeah, that's what Mrs. Anderson says, too.
Well, there's only one way to get that help, my boy. Go to a psychiatrist.
You think a foot doctor can help me?
A psychiatrist is a doctor of the mind, Dennis. And there's a very good one right here in Weaverville.
But, Mr. Willoughby,
Dr. Walsberg has handled cases much more abnormal than your son. One patient of his bit his nails. Dr. Walsberg cured him within 2 weeks.
Well, a person can bite his nails and still be normal, can he?
Not when he does it right through his shoes. I know Dr. Walsberg can straighten you out, my boy. Will you go to see him?
But, Mr. Willoughby, I'm perfectly normal. Honest, I am.
Dennis, you want to be heir to a fortune, don't you?
Gee, you mean a psychiatrist can do that for me?
He certainly can.
Boy, that's different. I should have gone to one of those fellows before I ever started working.
Splendid. I'll phone him that you're on the way. Come in, my boy. Come right in.
Thank you, Doctor.
Now then, you're the young man who thinks he's Dennis Day. That's your trouble, is it?
Yes, sir, and I've got it bad.
Well, we'll soon have you all straightened out. Suppose we get a little of your background, what you remember of it.
Yes, sir.
Let's go right back to your babyhood. What kind of a baby were you?
A boy.
Yes, I know. But was there anything unusual or odd about your babyhood?
Well, half the time I couldn't see.
Ah, I couldn't see?
That's right. It was on account of my mother being so nearsighted.
Oh, heredity, eh?
Oh, no, sir. It was just that half the time she put the rubber pants on the wrong end of me.
I see. Perhaps we should take a somewhat later age. Say about the time you first became aware of girls.
I beg your pardon?
Well, you realize there is an age at which young men become acutely aware of girls, don't you?
Oh, yes, sir, and I can hardly wait.
Obviously schizophrenic.
Again, how I'd like to beg it?
Schizophrenic, split personality.
Oh.
You have submerged your true character, hard-drinking, woman-chasing Van Rensselaer, beneath the assumed character of Dennis Day, who is just the opposite. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, yes, sir. It's just that I don't know what you're talking about.
In other words,
Your amnesia is caused by an inner revulsion to your true self. I can confirm my findings with a very simple test. Have you ever heard of word association?
No, sir, I don't join many clubs.
I'm referring to a psychopathological test. Or to try and put it more understandably, neurasthenic.
You missed.
In any event, I will give you a word. You are to tell me the word you associate with it. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Black.
Black.
Black? I thought you'd say white.
We just met, Doctor. I don't want to start an argument with you.
It isn't an argument, it's a test. If I said boy, you'd say girl. Now do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Chair.
Thanks, but I've already got one.
Chair is the word. You're supposed to say table. What's the matter with you?
I'm sorry, sir.
I'll try it again. Son.
Okay, try it again.
I am trying it again. Please listen. Son.
I'm listening, Pop.
Son is the word I gave you. You're supposed to tell me the word it makes you think of.
Oh, moon.
At last. You finally understand what I mean. Are you ready now?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Bad.
That isn't the word!
I'm sorry.
I'll give you the word now. Table.
Martin O'Malley.
What has Martin O'Malley got to do with table?
Well, he's a friend of mine from Hooperstown where I used to live. He was always under it.
Well, so much for word association.
Yes, sir.
In fact, for tests of all kinds. Young man, there is only one practical treatment for your condition. Hypnosis.
Hypnosis?
Yes. You will permit me to put you into an induced hypnotic trance, as distinguished from the one you're in now. I believe I can reactivate your subconscious and restore your identity.
You mean you're going to hypnotize me?
Exactly, if you will permit it.
Well, there is a fortune waiting for me, I hear. Go ahead.
Very well. Now look deep into my eyes. That's it. You're getting drowsy. Your senses are becoming numb. You're falling asleep. Asleep. Sleep. Sleep.
Hey, Doc, wake up.
Pardon me. Sometimes it goes into reverse. Look into my eyes again. Deep into my eyes. You're getting drowsy. Languorous. That's it. You're falling asleep. Sleep. Sleep. You're now in a hypnotic state. Listen to me. You are not Dennis Day.
I am not Dennis Day.
Your name is Schuyler Van Rensselaer.
My name is Schuyler Van Rensselaer.
You are very rich.
I'm loaded.
You're a playboy, mad about women.
I'm a playboy, mad about women.
You like to take a drink now and then. When you awaken, you will go home, but remember nothing of Dennis Day. You will be Schuyler Van Rensselaer, the playboy. And now, awaken.
And still no sign of him, Flipsy. Are you sure the boy's all right?
Of course he's all right, Herbert. Mr. Willoughby told me on the phone he'd sent him to Dr. Allsberg, the psychiatrist.
And you really think that he'll come back here thinking he's Schuyler Van Rensselaer?
I do.
If I know Dennis, there's a much better chance that Dr. Alsberg will go back to Vienna thinking he's Sigmund Freud.
You're always...
Oh, that may be he. I'll go. Dennis!
The name is Skylar, Shorty. Who are you?
Why, don't you know me? I'm Herbert Anderson.
Glad to meet you, Herbie. Is that all there is of you, or are you standing in a manhole?
My goodness gracious.
Oh, there you are, Dennis. You're back.
Who's this character, Shorty? Your mother?
What? How dare you?
Skip it, babe.
Babe! Why, you never called me anything but Mrs. Anderson in your life.
Well, don't crowd your luck. Well, how about a little snort, huh? Just a single scotch with a gin chaser for me. I'm on the wagon.
Mr. Van Rensselaer.
Mother, have you heard of... Oh, there you are.
Hiya, baby. What's next?
Oh, Dennis.
My name isn't Dennis, Toots. Just call me Castor Oil.
Castor oil? Why?
Because I'm bad medicine, Toots. Get your coat on, kid. We'll go for a drive in the park.
But I don't want to drive in the park.
You not only get a drive in the park with me, babe, you get a park in the drive.
Mother, what's come over Dennis? Why, he's become a terrible ladies' man.
Yes, sir. All I need now is a terrible lady. How about you, Frizzletop? You busy?
Frizzletop? Why, you've got...
I've got $10 million.
Yes, you have, haven't you?
Oh, forget it. This is the babe I'm interested in. What do you say, Dollface?
Oh, how could you be so awful? You ought to be ashamed.
Now, don't race your motor, Toots. I'm feeling give-inny if you're feeling give-outy.
Oh, you beast. Take this.
Why, Mildred. Mr. and Mrs. Anderson. What? Where am I?
Uh-oh. I think the enchanted hour is over.
Why, you're home, Dennis. What on earth happened to you?
Gosh, I don't know. The last I remember, I was in Dr. Alsberg's office. He hypnotized me.
Hypnotized you? Then you're not Skylar Van Rensselaer.
Oh, please, don't start that again. I'm Dennis Day. Honest, I am. Mildred, did I act funny?
I should say you did. And the things you had nerve enough to say to my mother.
Oh, golly. I'm going down to the doctor's office right now and tell him off plenty.
And I'm going with you, Dennis.
Are you going to tell him off too, Mr. Anderson?
No, sir. I'm going down for a treatment.
Dennis Day will be back in just a moment with a song. But first, here's a fact worth knowing.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And just how important that is, our Colgate players are here to demonstrate for you. As our curtain goes up, we find a policeman looking over a young boy who is sitting on a porch.
Did you see that, Officer Cassidy? Did you see Mary slam that door? Jeepers, a fine thing when my girl puts out both the cat and me.
Danny, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't be believing this. Might I be inquiring what's the charge?
Well, that's what I don't know, Officer Cassidy. The girl won't talk. Why, I bet even the third degree wouldn't get a reason out of Mary.
Well, now, I wonder if you're in the clear on a certain charge I'm thinking of, Danny. You know, it could do you no harm to appear before your dentist nearby.
And here's what Danny found out. Scientific tests have proved that in 7 out of 10 cases, Colgate Dental Cream instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. What's more, Colgate Dental Cream Safe Polishing Agent brings out the natural sparkle of your teeth, cleans them thoroughly and safely.
Yes, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And Colgate Dental Cream is famous for its wonderful wake-up flavor, too. In fact, nationwide tests of leading toothpastes prove that Colgate Dental Cream is preferred for flavor over other brands tested.
So to clean your teeth thoroughly and safely, for a wake-up flavor everyone enjoys, use Colgate Dental Cream. Remember, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. Here's Dennis Day and Charles Dant's beautiful arrangement of September Song.
hasn't got time for the waiting game. Oh, the days dwindle down to a precious few. September,
Dennis Day can be heard with Jack Benny every Sunday. And be sure to be with us again next week for another Dennis Day program. More songs, more adventures in the life of our star, Dennis Day. Meanwhile, be sure to use Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth.
It's new, it's amazingly different. Not a liquid, not a soap, but an utterly new cream shampoo that leaves hair soft, radiant, glamorous, and also easy to manage. It's Luster Cream Shampoo, created by Kay Dumas, who combined rich lanolin with secret ingredients. Use Luster Cream Shampoo and see how soft, how naturally lovely, how brilliantly alive and well-behaved your hair can be. Ask for Luster Cream Shampoo at cosmetic counters.
This is Vern Smith reminding you to stay tuned for the Mr. District Attorney program, which follows immediately.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Colman.
Good evening, this is Ronald Colman.
And Benita Colman.
Inviting you to join us again on the campus of Ivy College.
And now, the Halls of Ivy.
Surround us here today, and we will not forget, though we be far, far away.
Welcome again to Ivy. Ivy College, that is, in the town of Ivy, USA. The president of which, Dr. William Towboat Hall, is engaged in one of America's favorite indoor sports. Oh, not table tennis, not bridge, not charades, not putting golf balls into a paper cup. This pastime requires more accuracy, more muscle, and more finesse than any of those. It's called rearranging the living room furniture. And as his wife Victoria so well says...
But after all, dear, we can't just leave things the way they are forever and ever. You know what Voltaire said? Changez tout hors vos amours. Change everything except your loves.
Thank you for excluding me from your alterations.
Oh, you're my one permanent possession, darling. Collector's item.
Well, I hope so. But frankly, I was well satisfied with this living room the way it was. To quote another French authority, Alphonse Carr, plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose. The more it changes, the more it is the same thing.
Darling, you really have a lovely Parisian accent. It's gorgeous.
Naturally. I spent 3 whole days in Paris learning how to say, Où est la Express Company Américain? Now, where did you say you wanted this armchair?
In the corner there, just to the right of the bay window, see?
Oh, but that's where we had it, darling, 10 minutes ago, and you didn't like it.
Yeah, but that was before we put the piano over here.
Oh, yes. Well, how silly of me. But tell me one thing, before I suffer complete muscular collapse.
Yes, dear.
Do you think by any chance that this final rearrangement will be final?
Yes, Toddy, definitely.
Would you care to make an informal agreement to that effect? In writing?
Well, for how long?
Say 90 days. Non-renewable.
90 days? Well, good heavens, in 10 days you'll want to change things. You'll say, I don't like this big chair here because there's no light to read by. And you'll be perfectly right. And I'll cheerfully admit it, and we'll move everything back. But there's a man for you, always wanting to be reasonable.
Well, it's an arguable point, but I'm too weak for rebuttal. All right, here we go.
Yeah, a little more to the left here. Oh, yes, more. That's it. Oh, that's perfect.
Oof, I'm glad that's done. Are we through now?
Yes, darling. All through.
Good.
Except for rehanging the pictures.
Couldn't we settle for something simpler? Such as scraping off the wallpaper with an old razor blade and painting a mural?
This won't take but a minute, Toddy. Now, we'll leave the Toulouse-Lautrec where it is and put the Gauguin over the fireplace. You know, there's one nice thing about having good reproductions instead of originals.
Yes, we don't have to keep lending them to museums.
Yeah. What I meant was that nobody can come in, look at our pictures, and say, oh, that's a fake. How much do you get stuck for it?
Now, if we had mural paintings in here instead of... Oh, good heavens.
What's the matter?
Well, Vicky, I just had a moment of almost divine revelation.
What?
Even the early Etruscans of mysterious origin knew the secret. The Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Mayans, and the Aztecs, they all knew it. And I, in my stupidity, never realized it until now. Oh, the shame of it.
William, what on earth are you talking about?
Why, the origin of mural painting. The why of it. Why did those ancients start painting on the stone walls instead of boards and canvases?
Well, why did they?
Well, simply so some woman couldn't come along 2 weeks later and say, I don't like it yet.
And it also accounts for all those dead civilizations.
It does?
Yes. The people got so sick of seeing the same paintings in the same place year after year, they burned the cities, covered them with 90 feet of dirt, and ran away.
Yes, it's possible, I suppose. Though it would seem to be carrying artistic criticism to a rather frantic extreme. Now, where do we put the Gauguin?
Leave it where it is. Then we'll hang the Matisse over the mantelpiece and put this one over the sofa.
What is that?
It's a painting I found up in the attic. Don't you remember it?
No, and please don't accuse me of having bought it.
Darling, you painted it. This is an early William T. Hall. You see down in the corner there, is he? William T. Hall, 1934, see?
Yes, I do remember it now. I submitted that to the Chicago Art Institute once for an exhibit. They sent it back with a very interesting appraisal.
What did they say?
Well, I don't recall the exact wordage, but the sense of the comment was, hanging is too good for it. You really like it?
But, Toddy, I liked it even before I knew you did it. It was dusty, but I washed it gently with soap and water, and I think it's really stimulating. Has it got a title?
Oh, no, it's an abstract. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, if it doesn't mean anything, why did you paint it?
Oh, possibly for the sheer pleasure of expressing myself in form and color. The same reason that a pianist practices runs and chords. However, piano exercises don't make concerts. This painting of mine now, you can't. It doesn't make a... It's not... It is interesting, isn't it?
I said so at the beginning. Now, where shall we hang it?
In the garage, along with my old license plates. But for the moment, let's hide it. I have an appointment with Alfred Chermondy.
Who is he?
He's a young gentleman who is quite pertinent to this discussion, oddly enough. A very talented art student who, as president of the Art Society, has dictated what type of painting shall be entered in the annual exhibit.
Well, there can't be much wrong with that. You said he was talented.
Yes, in an abstract sort of way. As a matter of fact, in a totally abstract sort of way. He doesn't like anything else and isn't allowing any other type of painting in the art show. Abstracts are his first and only love.
Then he must have had a very strange first love life. Or else his craft is ebbing.
Vicky, I'm afraid you have gone too far. You're too young.
Oh, no. You win. Why is this abstracted young man coming here?
Well, as a traditional formality, the president of the Art Society will drop by to ask the president of Ivy to be one of the judges.
And what will you say?
I only know what I would like to say, if dignity and courtesy permitted. I sometimes wonder, in view of Mr. Chermondy's presumption, if now and then a painting doesn't get a shellacking which is more deserved by the artist.
Good evening, Mrs. Hall.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Chermondy. Dr. Hall is expecting you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Alfred.
Good evening, Dr. Hall.
And how is the exhibit coming along?
Almost ready to go. We have an excellent collection of paintings. You'll have a hard time picking the best ones, Dr. Hall. And, incidentally, according to the tradition, I have the honor of inviting you to be a judge.
Well, thank you very much, but I'm afraid I must decline.
You decline? But why, Dr. Hall?
Alfred, I am an exponent of healthy nonconformity, but you are insisting on your own brand of conformity in this show. You've screened the exhibitors through the thumbhole of your own palette.
Well, I've limited all paintings to abstracts because I believe they'll contribute the most towards the advancement of art.
It is your narrow limitation to which I object. But apart from that, would you throw Cézanne and Renoir into oblivion? And Rembrandt into the ash heap? Do you also mean to dispense with early Picasso?
Of course not. Picasso is a total conceptualist in simultaneity, just as I am.
Oh, I say, are you really?
I've seen some of your work, Alfred. You have a genuine talent. But I cannot see anything of real life or emotion in it. And you seem to demand that I do.
Well, the world has seen enough of real life. What has it led to? Confusion. We propose to point the way out of that confusion.
With a paintbrush? That's quite an assignment.
Look, we propose to create a new reality.
Well, I kind of like the one we've got. It may not be a palace, but it's home.
Alfred, I had a good art teacher at one time. And while he failed to make a master painter of me, he taught me to see. I can look into a puddle of mud and see the subtleties of gray and brown and green, and the iridescent beauty of a swirl of oil. I can see form and pattern in a barbed wire fence, and the blue and the violet in the shadow of a dead tree. I cannot accept your kind of perception, which does not see the puddle, the fence, or the dead tree.
Well, that may be, Dr. Hall, but we tell people what to see. That's the function of the plastic consciousness of sympathetic universalism. That's its unique advantage.
Advantage. Now, there's a word I recognize.
Now, consider the unique advantage of the interpenetration of planes. Velocity is an absolute.
'Twas brillig in the slidey toves to jar and gimble in the wave.
What was that again, Mrs. Hall?
All mimsy were the borogoves and the mome rats out grave.
That's, Lewis Carroll's Jabberwockies, like your Jabberwocky. Only he made fun of such things and you proposed to make use of them. At a moment when mankind needs artists to remind them of their essential dignity, you would make them feel doubtful about the value of kindness and pity. So you see, I'm prejudiced. And that's why I must decline to serve as a judge, Alfred.
I'm sorry, our viewpoints are not en rapport, Dr. Hall.
En rapport? Où est la express company américaine?
It's also discouraging to find the head of an educational institution unwilling to accept new concepts. Well, I'm sorry to have taken up your time, sir.
Oh, not at all.
Good night, Dr. Hall.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Awfully young, isn't he?
Yes, I'm afraid this young man has taken his gift of self-confidence back to the store and exchanged it for a package of ego.
Yeah. I feel a little sorry for him. He wants to express himself and doesn't know yet that self-expression is from the heart as well as from the head.
Oh, I'm in favor of Alfred expressing himself. Preferably to some place like British Guiana, and I will be happy to pay the express.
And away, la Express America. Oh, well, no, all right. But who will you get to judge this art exhibit in your place?
Well, I think perhaps someone like Charles Nevers.
Charles Nevers? Who's he?
He's a man with sharp critical judgment and a superb collection of contemporary art. He understands both its creative and its functional aspects. Yes, Nevers is definitely the man for this.
I never heard of him. Is he an artist or just a collector?
Well, he's a wallpaper manufacturer. Just the critic to give our Alfred a metaphorical pasting.
This rebroadcast presentation of The Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
As we return to the Halls of Ivy, the Halls are wearing a single-tone look of concern with contrasting words of relief. Dr. Hall's acquaintance, Charles Nevers, has consented to take over the job of judging a coming Art Society's exhibit.
I appreciate your asking me, Dr. Hall, but why do you want me to replace you?
Well, because I formed an opinion even before the contest begins, and that is the gravest wrong a man can perpetrate against his fellows. To judge with prejudice.
Yeah, and because you're a specialist in modern art, Mr. Nevers.
I like all forms of art, so long as they're honest.
Yes, in art as in any other department of life. There's no substitute for integrity. I don't feel that if I fail to understand a painting, that painting is bad, per se. On the other hand, I have no compulsion to join any cult of admiration because it is the thing to do. A model gets paid for posing. Too many artists and too many critics do it for nothing. Well, it's unfair competition. And if I...
Louisa's marketing, William. I'll get it. Excuse me.
Thank you, darling. Now, where was I, Mr. Nevers?
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Wellman.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall. This won't take long, even if you do have company.
Hello, Mr. Wellman.
I'm not in the habit of asking favors. Hello, Dr. Hall. After all, it's not a request, just a recommendation.
Mr. Wellman, this is Mr. Nevers.
Nevers. Nevers? Yes. Convention, Chicago, trademark, yes. Wallpaper, as I remember, 1947 wallpaper. I never forget a wallpaper. How do you do?
Glad to meet you, Mr. Wellman.
Mr. Nevers and I were just having a discussion about modern art.
Well, I'm not really interested, not in art exhibits, even though this one is different. I still don't understand it. But my wife does, and that's good enough for me because I don't understand my wife. And that's what I came to talk to you about.
What, your wife, Mr. Wellman?
Yes, exactly, Mrs. Hall. My wife has a friend who has a daughter.
Well, it's a small world, isn't it?
And her daughter goes to Ivy. She paints. She painted the picture in this exhibit, and that's what I came to see you about. Nothing very big, nothing too obvious, something small. Good prize.
But, Mr. Wellman...
See what you can do. Porter.
I beg your pardon?
Porter. That's the girl's name.
Oh.
I told you, Dr. Hall.
Well, Mr. Wellman, I'm sure you don't mean that the judges of this exhibit should be biased or show any kind of favoritism.
I don't? No, well, that's not...
No, you are simply suggesting that Mr. Nevers here should not overlook the entry of the daughter of the friend of your wife.
What has Mr. Nevers got to do with my wife's daughter? I mean my friend's wife. I mean my daughter's friend. What do you mean, Dr. Hall?
Mr. Wellman, I am not a judge in the contest. Mr. Nevers is taking my place.
But he's a businessman. I mean, what has business got to do with art? Unless you want to sell it.
I agree with you, Mr. Wellman, that this is an exhibit and not a sales convention. However,
Thank you, Mr. Nevers. Naturally, you as a businessman would see the situation clearly, but I am shocked, Dr. Hall, that you would turn a cultural event into which an opportunity for an art exhibit into a sordid commercial enterprise.
If I were doing that, then I would also be shocked, Mr. Wellman. However, the simple fact is that I have disqualified myself because of a prejudicial viewpoint.
Oh? So, you don't understand that doodling either. Well, in that case, who'll know the difference? Give a first prize.
No, Mr. Wellman, many people will know the difference, especially Mr. Nevers, because there's a difference of merit between the various samples of what you call doodling.
Well, I told you I wasn't interested. But what am I going to tell my wife?
Well, tell her the truth, that you didn't get to first base.
She hates baseball, Mrs. Ford. Well, all I can say is, wallpaper. Good day, Mr. Nevers. Good day, Dr. Hall. Don't bother Miss Hall. I know my way out.
He seems to have a strong resistance to a contrary opinion.
Yeah, or a contrary resistance to a strong opinion.
Well, your awareness of that fact is one of the reasons why I'm glad you're going to be a judge this afternoon, Mr. Nevers.
Are you sure you still want me? I'll have to give my honest opinion, and that might lead to more trouble with Mr. Wellman.
If your opinions of the art show don't lead to trouble with Mr. Wellman, I shall suspect their integrity. Good hunting, Mr. Nevers.
Piano for a long time, Toddy.
It's very soothing.
It's very satisfying, too. On a piano, everything is right there in black and white.
I hope Mr. Nevers found the exhibit interesting.
Yeah, I hope so, too. Do you remember how much fun we had, darling, trotting around those galleries and museums in London?
I'm surprised that I didn't view every display with scorn and contempt.
Why?
Well, because I had walking by my side the most beautiful exhibit in all England.
Oh, that's a good one, that is.
As a matter of fact, my love, while I was pointing out some inspired composition, some masterpiece of light and shadow, I was most likely looking at you instead of the painting.
That was probably because you had to point at things with your left hand. I was holding on to your other one. Oh, Toddy, you were so nice to be with, and still are.
Thank you, my sweet. I echo the sentiment with fervency and gratitude. Life with you is like walking through a permanent exhibit of everything that's good and beautiful. You're a one-man show, darling, and I'm happy to be the one man. And I'm glad, too, that...
No, Louise will answer the door, darling. Maybe Mr. Nevers to report about the exhibit.
Mr. Wellman, without whom life would be so placid. However, placidity can turn to just acidity if its monotony is not relieved by a... Oh, come in, Mr. Wellman.
I am in. Hello. Did you know, Dr. Hall, that Mr. Nevers completely ignored the Porter girl? Ignored her painting completely. Not even honorable mention, despite my personal recommendation. Did you know that?
No, we didn't, Mr. Wellman.
Oh, I'm sure, Mr. Wellman, that he judged her work solely on the basis of its merit, without any other consideration.
Of course he did. Bless his heart. Her painting was the worst thing in the show. Looked like it was painted with a toothbrush. With oil out of a sardine can. Horrible. My wife is terribly upset, but not I. I'm delighted.
Well, we thought you wanted her to win the prize, Mr. Wellman.
I did, naturally, because of my wife. Had her heart set on it. Otherwise, I never would. Suppose she had won a prize. How would it make me look? Me, chairman of the board of governors. A man in my position, trying to use my influence. Did you hear what Mr. Nevers did and what Alfred Termanley did after Mr. Nevers did it?
No, we didn't.
Well, he offered that fellow, that Termanley, he offered him $1,000 for the right to use his painting to make a wallpaper pattern. That wasn't a prize, it was a sale.
Are you shocked at the fact that the special award was given for design, or are you protesting that $1,000 was paid for it?
Both. Who's that?
Well, you go right ahead, Mr. Wellman, and I'll find out for you.
Well, his $1,000 is his, but the reputation of Ivy is mine. What will happen to our art department? Laughing stock.
Oh, excuse me for interrupting, Dr. Hall, but I had to see you.
Of course. Come in, Alfred. You know Mr. Wellman?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Wellman.
Bravo, Alfred Chermondy. 3 cheers.
What do you mean, cheers?
Because even if it isn't good business sense, you turned down the $1,000. That's idealism. That's what I was cheering. And that's all I have to say, Dr. Hall. Good day. Congratulations, Chermondy, and my sympathy.
Yeah, give my regards to Mrs. Wellman.
She's not speaking to me.
Goodbye. I would also like to congratulate you, Alfred. But why did you turn down the offer?
Dr. Hall, I've never been so humiliated in my life. I want to be recognized for my creativeness. I don't want to be insulted with just money.
Well, I'm glad I'm not so sensitive.
Besides, he doesn't know the first thing about art. If he thinks that my painting of time and space in limbo would make a good wallpaper pattern. Why, it was a new emotional configuration.
Now, here we go again.
Mr. Nevis was biased. Besides being incompetent to judge this kind of art.
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Chermondy understands about Mr. Nevis, William.
Well, what is there to understand about a wallpaper manufacturer pretending to be an art critic?
Mr. Nevers has one of the finest collections of contemporary art in the United States.
He has? Well, anyone can buy paintings if they have the money. It doesn't make them critics.
Mr. Nevers is also rated as an expert on paintings, Alfred.
Oh. He is?
He's consulted by galleries all over the world and by the United States Customs Office to authenticate paintings.
No.
Yes.
Well, that makes all the difference.
Of course it does, Alfred. It's not a case of a businessman buying some of your art to make a label for toothpaste. This is a matter of an acknowledged art expert selecting one of your designs to make things brighter in American homes.
As long as your work hangs on people's walls, Alfred, what does it matter whether it's put up with wire or paste? I mean, you still contributed something. You created a new design for living. And people live in living rooms, not art galleries.
Well, maybe my trouble is I don't know enough about living. Or living rooms. I've been so busy living by a theory. Well, Dr. Hall, I'm glad you weren't one of the judges.
Yes, so am I. We can't afford to give anybody $1,000.
Well, it's not only that I'll be ahead $1,000, Mrs. Hall. Dr. Hall's refusal to judge this art exhibit has improved my judgment. I've lost some of my overconfidence, but I'm way ahead in my education.
Well, I'm glad I did something to fulfill my proper function, Alfred. I can't give cash prizes, but sometimes a little education is a prize worth winning. I believe with Aristotle that learning is an ornament in prosperity, a refuge in adversity, and a provision in old age.
At this same time at the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Colman. Mr. Wellman is played by Herbert Butterfield. Alfred Chermondy was Paul Preece, and Mr. Nevers was Stanley Farrar. Tonight's script was written by Arthur Ross and Don Quinn. Music was composed and conducted by Henry Russell.
To the head of halls of footsteps of us all will echo down the hall and disappear. But as we sadly start our journeys far apart, a part of every heart will linger here in the sacred halls of ivy, where we've lived and learned to know that through the years we'll see you in the sweet afterglow. We'll remember halls of ivy in the sweet
The makers of Tender Leaf Tea and Bluebonnet Margarine present The Fred Allen Show with Fred's guests Jack Haley, Portland Hopper, Minerva Pius, Peter Donald, Parker Fenley, the DeMarcos, Al Goodman, his orchestra, and Kenny Delmar. The year-round, all-weather, all-purpose beverage is delicious Tender Leaf Tea. Fall, winter, spring, and summer. The all-weather, all-purpose beverage is tea. And month in, month out, Tender Leaf Tea Balls are the all-American favorite. Save money on Tender Leaf Tea Balls by getting the jumbo box of 48. Add economy to all the other reasons for their record-breaking popularity. Tender Leaf Tea Balls outsell all other kinds because they're better in every way. The tea is superb, rich, delicious, famous for flavor, Tender Leaf brand tea. And this is the convenient way to serve it. In filter paper tea balls. The filter paper used for Tender Leaf Tea Balls is absolutely tasteless and insoluble, so your tea is never marred by stray leaves. It's solid pleasure, a cup of quick comfort when you need it most. Put in a supply so you never run out. Save money, too. Ask your grocer for the big box of 48 Tender Leaf brand tea balls.
Ladies and gentlemen, last week Ralph Edwards started his new Miss Hush contest. Tonight, we can't bring you Miss Hush, but we can bring you Mr. Big Mouth. And here he is, Fred Allen.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Portland, what is this Miss Hush business? Do you know who Miss Hush is?
Well, I don't even know who Miss Rheingold is.
Do you know who you are?
Of course.
I just wanted to make sure. I know you couldn't be Miss Rheingold because Miss Rheingold has a head. But tell me what's new, Portland.
The British Broadcasting Corporation is going to broadcast Princess Elizabeth's wedding.
I wonder what they'll call the program.
Queen for a day.
Say, it's only one man's opinion, but that is very good.
Made it up.
You just made it up? No kidding. What do I need with writers? Why, for a half-hour program, I can just throw you a couple of straight lines, stand back, and let you cut loose. I sense it. Something tells me that.
You're not kidding.
You mean?
I know how to make up jokes.
You do?
There's a piece in that new magazine, 47.
Oh, I saw that in the November issue of 47. A writer who used to work with us, Herman Woke, tells how radio writers make up their jokes.
It's easy.
Really? Mm-hmm. Let me hear you make up a joke right now. No help from the audience, please. All right, make up a joke.
All right. A basketball team is chasing a football team down the street. What time is it?
A basketball team chasing a football team, what time is it?
11:05.
I was wrong. I do need writers. Tell me, what else is new?
A recent poll shows that 30% of the people in Cincinnati have never heard of the UN.
Well, it comes out even. 70% of the UN have never heard of Cincinnati. Tell me, what is your last clipping there?
The Treasury Department says that the life of a $10 bill is 3 years.
Really? Do you think the life of a $10 bill is only 3 years?
Well, I don't know. I never had one die on my hands.
You had one die on your hands right then. One in the joke in one hand and the $10 bill in the other. Tell me, have you ever seen a $7 bill?
No.
I have one here from the gas company. I hope we both live to be as old as that joke is. And as decrepit and as bent as the writer is who brought it in this afternoon. I fell out of his wheelchair as he was going by on his way to work for Red Skelton. I let him go. His wheelchair used to squeak at conferences, so I said, out with you in the chair. But before I get any, that was the writer who got sick of standing for comedians, got his own wheelchair and was sitting down for them. And before I get any older, Portland, I am leaving for Allen's Alley.
What is your question tonight?
Well, recently, an authority on music, I think it was Jack Eigen, I'm not quite sure, but this authority on music said that swing is on its way out and sweet music is coming into favor. And so our question is, what type of music do you prefer, sweet or swing?
Shall we go?
As one button said to the other button on the fat man's vest, I am popping off. It's so good to get back to Allen's Alley, Portland, with the elite. I guess the senator's leaving for Washington. Look, his bindle is packed on the front step there. Well, let's knock.
I see somebody's trying to rouse old Senator Claghorn.
Well, yes.
Oh, it's you, son.
Yeah.
Well, let me shake that thing that's hanging out of your sleeve.
Well,
open up there, son. Tell me, what do you know for sure?
Well, Senator.
Stop gabbing, son. Give me both barrels. I'm busier than Vyshkinsky's interpreter.
Now, wait a minute.
I've been down in Washington grilling them picture people about communism.
Oh, you've been down there?
I ain't never trusted Hollywood since I've seen that Lum and Abner picture.
Yeah?
Lum was phoning Abner, and he was using the party line.
Party line? Well, have you found any other propaganda?
I sure have. One movie I saw, it was Weekend at the YMCA.
Yeah?
Right near the end of the picture, the boy and girl is eating dinner. There's a close-up of a big combination salad.
And you?
As soon as I seen that salad, I had them trapped.
The salad was propaganda?
On that combination salad, they had Russian dressing.
But, Senator...
I'm too slick for them, son. I know all the ins and outs. As old Flowerbag said, I've been through the mill.
How do you think the Red investigation will end up, Senator?
Well, son, if the Senate don't quit throwing money around on these investigations, the whole country's going to end up in the red.
Well,
in the red, that is.
I heard it. The first time, Senator. Tell me, it was my misfortune to be close enough to hear it the second time. Tell me, how do you feel about this music trend? Do you think that swing music is giving way to sweet?
Well, there's only one thing we're afraid of down in Washington, son.
Yes?
Whether it's sweet or swing.
Yes?
In 1948, us Democrats have got to face the music. So long, son. So long.
Well, unless Mr. Petrillo changes his mind, by 1948, no politician will be able to take a look at the record. Say, I wonder... I just said that to fill in time. We had 5 seconds. What was I going to do? Stand around and look at this? I wonder if Mr. Moody is still up.
Howdy, Bub.
Tell me, Mr. Moody, what about this trend of music from swing to sweet?
Why, it can't come too soon to please me.
You don't like swing music?
No.
You don't?
Oh, you can have your ragtime shouters and your calypso singers.
The calypso singers, too.
I'll take Burl Ives and Red Poley and Salty Dog Holmes.
I see.
I tell you, when Burl Ives strums his guitar and sings the Big Rock Candy Mountain, tears come to my eyes.
Tears, eh?
Yeah. And when Red Poley sings, she left an old mother who just didn't know of the sin neath the bright city lights. Then them tears just roll down my vest into my watch pocket.
I see.
Between brown and red, my watch is always rusty.
Well, I can see that music affects you easily. Do you play any instrument?
Why, I used to play the zither, but my lap got tender. I had to give it up.
Do you sing?
Only in the bathtub.
The bathtub, eh?
I ain't sung since last spring.
Well, don't you ever dance?
No, last time I danced cured me.
Well, what happened?
Why, it was a church social.
Yeah?
I was introduced to this cutie from Kansas City.
I see.
She was hot stuff.
Yeah?
He was wearing a cat o' nine tails corsage and bulldog shoes.
He was hot stuff.
Yeah. Well, the band started playing. We was doing the Portland Fancy.
Uh-huh.
I kept twirling her.
Yeah?
And I noticed she was growing.
Oh, really?
I finally says, Kid, it seems to me you're getting taller.
Uh-huh.
She says, I know. I got a wooden leg and you're twirling me the wrong way. So long, man.
Yeah, please, you can always go around to the girl so long. Oh, well, let's try this next door.
Howdy, kiddo.
Ah, Mrs. Nussbaum. Tell me, what are you doing with that popcorn bag?
Last night I'm going to the movies.
Uh-huh.
It is a short picture.
I see.
I'm having popcorn left over.
Oh, with a short picture. Tell me, what picture did you see?
It is a new one, Walt Disney.
Oh, Disney?
They are calling it Fun with Fancy Could Be Free.
Oh. Well, what is the picture about?
Well, in the zoo is a little bear, a puppy bear.
Uh-huh.
It is named Bongo.
Is Bongo a cinnamon bear?
Who could tell the flavor?
That's right. It might have been peppermint.
Oh, Tutti Frutti it could be also,
Possibly.
yes.
Well, now, Mrs. Nussbaum, about this music trend.
Only one kind of music is not changing.
Not sweet or swing?
Hillbilly music, country style.
Oh, what do you know about rustic music?
Every summer I'm spending by Davidoff's Dude Ranch my vacation.
Well, fine, but where does the music come in?
Well, every night by the corral is square dancing.
Square dancing?
And all the dances I am calling Yippee!
You call the dances. How do they sound?
Swing your partner. Who is kidding? You are the onion, she's the heading. Turn to the right, use your noodle. Do-si-do and shake your strudel. Shake your strudel. Thank you.
Thank you. Here we are. And here we are at the last shanty in Allen's Alley.
Oh, remember the letters of Fanny for flavor, nutrition, economy. Green bonnet margarine.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Cassidy. That's blue bonnet margarine.
In my neighborhood, me boy, the bonnet is green.
Tell me, Ajax, what is your reaction to this music trend?
Oh, sure, I seen the handwriting on the hurdy-gurdy, so to speak.
Something told you swing was through?
Well, me boy, it was bruited about. The Gene Cooper was trying to sell his drum to the Salvation Army.
I see.
The next day, Chibaba fell off the hit parade.
And you saw other signs that swing was finished?
Kerrigan took out his jukebox. He hired a band.
A band, eh?
Mm-hmm. Guy Lombrady and his Royal Hibernians.
Guy Lombrady?
Playing the sweetest music this side of 3rd Avenue.
What sort of a band does Guy have?
Well, it's 2 bagpipes, 3 oboes, a concertina, and a hot water bottle.
Well, what is the hot water bottle for?
The concertina player's got arthritis.
Tell me, how do you feel about sweet music yourself, Mr. Cassidy?
Oh, I have an intense aversion to all music, and that goes for Toscanini and Spike Jones, too.
Really?
I even carry rocks with me to throw at nightingales.
Well, why?
Well, some years ago, I had the misfortune to listen to a musical selection.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it led to all my troubles.
But,
Turned me from a gay, carefree bucko to a bitter old bore.
Well, what was this musical selection that ruined your life?
The wedding march. Goodbye, people.
And the the sun slowly sinks over the roofs of Allen's Alley, we turn to welcome the 5 DeMarco sisters under the skilled guidance of Al Goodman, who will attempt to dominate his orchestra for one night only. The DeMarcos sing Naughty Angeline.
Too many rings on your finger, naughty Angeline. You laugh at romance that lingers, naughty Angeline. You take a heart, then you break it, just for fun. Someday you break one too many, yours may be the one. Everyone kisses a flower filled with sweet perfume. Nobody kisses a flower after it has lost its bloom. Find someone's arms, Mr. Taken Baby. Settle down for this time. 'Cause deep in your heart you're a good little girl. Naughty Angelina, Angelina, Angelina. Can't you hear me calling Angelina? Why don't you find somebody's arms now? Stop playing a part, 'cause deep in your heart you're a good little girl. Shame on you, naughty, naughty, naughty Angelina.
Thank you. And now a man with a suggestion.
Tip like this is worth a lot when you're shopping these days. It's something to remember. If mealtime is often spoiled in your home because it's such an effort to coax your children to eat their vegetables, listen carefully. You can now give your children the goodness of 8 different vegetables in a delicious drink they'll love. Just give them V8 vegetable juices. V8 is one of the most enticing drinks that's ever been concocted. And here's the important thing. Every tempting sip of V8 contains the goodness from 8 different vegetables. Tomatoes and beets of the red variety, lettuce, spinach, watercress, parsley, and celery of the leafy green variety, carrots of the yellow variety. Thus, when you serve V8, your children get both the goodness and variety of 8 different vegetables. Get V8 vegetable juices tomorrow. Give it to your children for lunch, dinner, or between meals. They'll love V8, and it's really good for them.
You have just heard a few bars of Near You, played by Maestro Al Goodman, and 25 reasons why he doesn't have his own program. Now, ladies, say, Portland.
Yes?
Will you make a note that our guest next Sunday is Maurice Chevalier, the famous French star?
I'll mark it down. Next Sunday, Maurice Chevalier.
Capital C with Chevalier. Yes. And now will you hand me that movie manuscript on the piano there?
Movie manuscript?
Yes, it's the story of my life. Hollywood is making everybody's life these days. Anyone who has lived long enough to last through 5 reels can sell his story to a picture company.
Which studio is going to do your picture?
The only Hollywood producer who hasn't been investigated. Mr. Cecil B. Schmidlap. And that reminds me, I have an appointment with Mr. Schmidlap tonight, Portland. He's going to read my script. I'll see you later. I'll be back. Ah, this is the office. What's this sign? Eagle Beagle Productions. If it's a beagle picture, you know it's a dog. Well, I'll go in.
Fred Allen.
Jack Haley. Gee, yes. Jack, what are you doing here in Schmidlap's office?
I'm going to sell him my life story.
Well, I'm going to sell him my life story, too.
But I thought 20th Century Fox made a picture about your life.
What picture?
Nightmare Alley.
I think we're in it here. Now, look, Jack, we both can't sell our lives.
But, Fred, how can they make your life? Nothing's ever happened to you. The picture will come out as short.
Well, Jack.
Well, even as a baby, you were a nobody.
You were a celebrity?
Well, when I was 2 months old, my picture was in every magazine and newspaper in the country.
Your picture?
Yeah, I was holding my bottle that said, Little Jackie Haley has switched to Carnation.
But later, Jack, we were kids together.
Yeah, and you were a pretty old kid, too, as I remember. You had varicose veins in kindergarten.
Not fallen arches I had in kindergarten. Why, when I was a boy in Boston, I worked in the public library.
And what a soft job you had.
Soft job?
Why, in those days, only 3 books had been written, and 2 of them were banned in Boston.
Say, remember when we both went into vaudeville together?
Oh, I sure do. Remember that rooming house we used to live in, Mother Shapiro's? Rooms, 50 cents a night?
With a door on the room, it was 75.
And those rats in Mother Shapiro's, were they big? One rat was a bellboy.
If you didn't tip him, he'd eat a hole in your bag. Say, remember that lunch wagon we used to eat in?
Yeah, one of the wheels was missing.
The lunch wagon slanted. You had to eat everything uphill.
And those meals, beans, pie, and coffee for a dime.
Beans, pie, and coffee.
Yeah, many a spoon I bent trying to stir that coffee.
Remember some of those vaudeville acts we used to work with?
Yeah, do you remember Sadie the snake charmer?
Sadie kept her stockings up with 2 garter snakes.
Do you remember? Shall I wait? I just want
I told him to put that laugh in an incubator, see what happened to it later in life.
You remember Sam, the big cobra Sadie had?
What happened to Sam, the cobra?
Well, Sam swallowed a pool cue in Des Moines. He couldn't coil up to go to sleep. Sam died of insomnia.
Sam died, eh?
Yeah, I went to the funeral.
Say, I've never seen a snake's funeral. What was it like?
The coffin was 29 feet long.
My gosh.
Yes, they had Sam lying in state in the Holland Tunnel.
Sam was a good snake, Jack. You know, he used to get delirium tremens and see men.
You remember Fifi and her dancing bear?
Well, I saw the bear the other day. He's working for Arthur Murray. At the studio in Alaska, I think. Say, I wonder whatever became of Waldo and his elephant.
Oh, the elephant died of ptomaine.
Oh.
He got a bad peanut in Duluth.
I remember one time in Sioux City, 2 trucks full of bicarbonate drove up to the theater. The elephant had indigestion. Well, after he finished the second trunk load of bicarbonate, the elephant burped and blew the back out of the theater. I remember.
With all these experiences, my life will make a smash hit.
Well, my life is no B picture, remember.
Gentlemen, Mr. Schmidlap will see you now. Through this door, please.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Schmidlap?
Come in, boys. You're just in time. Have I got trouble?
Mr. Schmidlap, we have 2 scenarios.
Who needs scenarios? I'm in the movie business. All my popcorn machines are running dry. I need 400 pounds of butter.
Well, I have written my life story.
And I've written mine.
I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry. Single lives in pictures today are passé. The public wants doubles.
Doubles?
I'm closing a deal to make the lives of Sears and Roebuck, Abercrombie and Fitch.
I've got it, Mr. Schmidlap. We can combine our lives.
Gad, Haley, and Allen. We'll be bigger than Park and Tilford.
What do you say, Mr. Schmidlap?
Boys, you won't believe this, but I can't visualize it.
No, I won't believe it. Tell me why. Why, let me explain, Mr. Schmidlap. Now, our picture opens with a blare of trumpets.
Cecil B. Schmidlap Productions presents the Haley and Allen story.
The year is 1900. The city is Boston.
The picture opens on Beacon Street.
Hold it. No, boys. Beacon Street is out.
Well, Beacon Street?
We worked Beacon Street to death in the late George Apley. We got to have something new.
But we were both born on Beacon Street.
Wait a minute. I've got it. The whole opening is out. You're 19 years old when you're born. All right, what's next?
Well, next, the scene is the Harvard campus. As the picture starts, we see 2 Harvard men chatting.
I say, Frederick, isn't it exciting? Our first prom.
Yes, John. This is my first date, too. I'm nervous.
Oh, there's nothing to be frightened about. They're Wellesley girls.
I'm trembling.
You are? Hasn't your father told you about the birds and the bees?
Only about the birds.
He hasn't told you about the bees?
Well, nobody told Father about the bees. Father was 62 before he knew what honey was. But what do I do when the girls get here?
I'll tell you what I did last night. I was out with a blonde Lulu, a candy kiddo.
Gee whiz.
I drove her home in my Stutz Bearcat.
John.
We were standing in the vestibule.
John.
Nobody was around.
Oh, John.
I opened my raccoon coat, whipped out my mandolin, and played Sweet Marie.
I'm fainting.
As I prepared to leave, Miss Tessie said, John, aren't you going to kiss me?
Heaven.
Kiss you, you brazen floppy, I said. I'm a Harvard man. With that, I picked up my mandolin and strode out of the vestibule. Oh, here come the girls. Wave your pennant.
Say, who is that fellow with them?
He has a saxophone. Hi-ho, everybody.
A Yale man.
Cut. Hold it. That's out.
It's out?
We can't make any college pictures.
No college pictures?
They give our producers an inferiority complex.
Oh.
All right, what's next?
The big dramatic climax. It's 20 years later. America's foremost surgeon is Dr. J. Haley. In the charity ward of a Bowery hospital, a derelict lies on the operating table. The nurse prepares him for a delicate brain operation. Dr. Haley, clad in gauze dungarees, rubber mittens, and antiseptic hip boots, enters the operating room.
Ready, nurse?
Ready, Dr. Haley?
Remove his hat.
All right, Doctor.
Scalpel.
Scalpel.
Forceps.
Forceps.
Blotter.
Blotter.
Zipper.
Zipper.
There you are. His head looks like a briefcase, but he will live.
Dr. Haley, you've worked a miracle. Will you sign this derelict's chart?
Nurse, the name on this chart. It's Fred Allen.
So what?
He's a Harvard man.
A Harvard man?
Nurse, erase where it says Fred Allen, drunken bum.
Yes, Doctor.
Put down Fred Allen, man of distinction.
Hold it. No, the surgery is out.
What?
Dr. Kildare makes all the medical pictures. Now, let me hear the rest.
The rest? Well, all we have left is the big class reunion.
Now, what happened?
Why, we sing.
So it's a musical. Why didn't you say so? Let's hear the song.
Many years ago, we met in Boston. In those good old days, we didn't have a bean.
And when you didn't have a bean in Boston, brother, your brown bread would look mighty lonesome. To always be good friends, we made a vow. We meant it. That's why we're together now. Pals, we'll always be pals. What you do is okay with me.
Pals, just regular pals. What you do will suit me to a T. You can have all my money, my silver and gold.
I'll give you my jokes, the ones that I've told. Good friends we'll be till we're old, because we're pals.
We have been pals for a long time, haven't we, Fred?
That's true, Jack.
You know, I don't want to appear sentimental, but I'd like to take this opportunity publicly to tell you just how I feel about you as a friend.
Well, thanks a lot, Jack. I appreciate it.
You know, Fred, there's nothing that I wouldn't do for you.
I know that, Jack.
You have so much it's difficult for me to express myself. Do you like this tie?
Yes, it's lovely. Very pretty tie.
You may have it.
Oh, now, don't take your tie off, Jack. No, I don't want your necktie. No, please, Jack. No, don't. I don't want your necktie. Oh, gee, thanks a lot, Jack. Isn't that lovely?
You know, Fred, there's nothing I wouldn't do for you.
I appreciate that, Jack.
Do you need any blood?
No, I don't.
You look kind of white.
Well, I'm loaded, Jack. Honestly, I couldn't do another.
Won't you take just a little blood?
No, thanks.
Has anybody out there got a razor blade?
No, don't, Jack. Don't open a vein just on my account. Please, don't. I don't need it.
But I just want to show you, Fred, there's nothing that I wouldn't do.
I appreciate that, Jack, and you're my best friend, too. There's nothing I would... Why, I'd give you the shirt off my back.
I know you would, Fred.
No, you're laughing, Jack.
Well,
you don't think I'd give you the shirt off my back. Listen, Jack, when I tell a fellow, a friend of mine, Jack, believe me, you can have this shirt. There, Jack, there's the shirt off my back. I don't friend is a friend.
Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? He gave me the shirt off his back. Least he could have done was have it laundered. Well, if you think I'm going to stand here and see you give me the shirt off
Jack,
your
no,
back...
I don't, Jack. Please don't give me a shirt. I'm no Indian giver.
Oh, that's all right.
I don't need this shirt. I don't. Jack, if you're going to do that for me... Now, wait a minute. If you give me your shirt, Jack, I've got to give you something, too. I'm going to give you...
Not your pants, Fred. Not your pants. Oh.
Because we're pals. 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 Before we remind you to remember Tenderleaf Tea and Bluebonnet Margarine on your shopping days, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Jack Haley for dropping by tonight. Next week, our guest will be Maurice Chevalier. Thank you and good night. Good night. Thank you. Good night.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.